We're about ready for kickoff in Tuscaloosa. Number 2 Alabama and Kent State. Dave Neal and Andre Ware on the call.
We are getting ready to open up the 2011 campaign in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, where the Crimson Tide have their sights set on a national championship, ranked number 2 in the country, as they begin their quest to duplicate what occurred in 2009, and that's when they brought home the crystal ball. They host Kent State to open up this campaign. And a pleasant good afternoon, everybody. I'm Dave Neal alongside my partner, Heisman Trophy winner, Andre Ware. And Andre, this Alabama team certainly a topic of conversation around the country. Nick Saban had it pretty much on the end of his tongue about the potential of this club. He couldn't wait to see them get on the field. Great defense, talented running back. But the biggest question surrounding this club, do they have a quarterback that can lead them to the promised land?
Yeah, I think they do. This team really resembles 09 when you talk about 10 defensive starters. And then they had a question mark at quarterback then. Greg McElroy's first year as a starter of this Alabama team. Now you got Phillip Sims, A.J. McCarron, 2 guys that have battled equally throughout the offseason, the spring. A.J. McCarron will get the start today. He'll go 3 series. He's a parade All-American. Then you flip to the other side in Phillip Sims, who has just about every record in Virginia in the state of in terms of high school passing records. A 10,000-yard passer for his career, also a parade All-American. 2 guys equally as good to get the job done. We just got to find some separation, the coaches said today, with those 2.
Well, regardless of the quarterback situation, at least you do know this. Trent Richardson will carry the football today, and he's pretty doggone good. For more on that, let's go down to the sidelines and Karen Capuano.
Yeah, guys, as you mentioned, Alabama may have its questions at quarterback and wide receiver, but they have a viable Heisman Trophy candidate in running back with Trent Richardson. He learned from one of the best, Mark Ingram, and he still talks to Ingram and Julio Jones about what they're experiencing now at the NFL level. He told us yesterday that he's taking in everything those guys are telling him, but he is so focused on the task at hand. Offensive coordinator Jim McElwain told us he is really proud of the leadership role that Richardson has assumed with this offense. He's now a mentor, like Ingram was for him, to the young running backs. Guys?
101,000 fans on hand. It has been a tough summer. It's been a tumultuous summer for college football, but nothing compared to what the folks in Tuscaloosa have had to deal with. This is a moment that brings some smiles to the folks wearing the crimson and white today. That is for sure. Kent State, the opening opponent, a club that came in 5-7 after a 2010 campaign, 4-4 in the Mid-American Conference, changes their coach, brings in Darrell Hazel to take on this Alabama team that wrapped up 2010, 10-3, 5-3 in SEC play. Trent Richardson, a pleasant young man that has that switch on game day, becomes a different person, a monster, if you will. He will get a lot of carries today. He is healthy, feels good, excited about his offensive line. And why wouldn't you be? This is a team that has aspirations of another national title. Defensively, this is a team that's coming off a year where they were first in the conference, 3rd in the country, only allowed 13 points a game. Dante Hightower, the leader of this group, along with Mark Barron. You see the 2 of them there in the middle of the field for the coin toss. Dante says that he is 100%. Last year in that 75 to 80% range. The coaches will have him playing all over the football field today. He'll have his hand on the ground in pass rushing situations, play that middle backer. They'll slide him outside. He's a guy that has some serious potential to cause some damage.
Yeah, you look at this defense, Dave, 5th last year overall. They only allowed 286 yards a game, and the coaches feel like this could be one of the best they've had since arriving at Alabama. So the coaching staff really likes what they see defensively. Probably arguably the best secondary in the entire country coming into the season. They had 22 picks last year. They're going to try to build on that this season.
Well, it is a warm afternoon, still late morning here Central Time. Temperature expected to be in the mid-90s as we move on throughout the afternoon. But a good day for football. Coming to the ballpark early this morning. You'd have thought the game was kicking off at 9 a.m. There were so many people around the stadium. To say they're excited about this season and about this team for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, being from the state of Texas, I tell people all the time, you think football's king until you go to the state of Alabama or the SEC, period. They're waiting about Wednesday to get in the stadium and ready to kick the baby off on Wednesdays. Amazing.
Well, Kent won the toss. They decided to take the football. So we'll get a good look at that Alabama defense that Kirby Smart told us yesterday. I said, what are your expectations? Because everybody else has placed them on this defense. What are your expectations? And he says, I hope we're the best defense that ever played at Alabama.
Yeah, and as well, you know what else? You got to still wait on the quarterback. Quarterback's still waiting. A.J. McCarron has waited a long time. He's got to wait at least a couple of series of down.
Cade Foster will kick off after he sets the football. Cade, the sophomore out of South Lake, Texas. He handles the long kicks and the kickoffs. Jeremy Shelley handles the mid-range and short field goals for the Crimson Tide, the same duo that worked for Coach Saban a year ago. So here we go. Looks like we're set for some football. Eric Adeyemi will field it and take it out. Adeyemi to the 10-yard line. The former Kentucky Wildcat picks up 12 on that return, and that is where the Golden Flashes will have the football to start this game. They have a quarterback that's seen quite a few snaps. Spencer Keith returns as the starter. Out of Little Rock, Arkansas, completed 59% of his passes a year ago. And Andre, what can we expect from him?
Oh, he's on their career list in a lot of categories, but trying to improve that touchdown to interception ratio. Only 8 TDs with 12 interceptions a year ago.
Single setback. Jaquise Terry. He'll get the opening handoff, tries to work that left side, and got back to the line of scrimmage. And that is it. Our starting lineups are brought to you by Chick-fil-A. We didn't invent the chicken, just the chicken sandwich. Take a look at this offensive unit from the Golden Flashes. Tyshawn Good, second team All-MAC performer. Jaquise Terry returns at tailback. Up front, this is a group that has kind of changed some spots. Guys played a lot last year. They just kind of rotate around, led by Chris Anzavino at center, and Kent Cleveland, the right guard, also a good one. Terry goes in motion. Little pressure, quick slant, passes in and out of the hands of the intended target, Matt Hurdle. Gives us a chance to look at this Alabama defense that they will base out of the 3-4. Jesse Williams, Chapman, and Square up front. The linebacking core, very talented, very solid, of course, led by Dante Hightower. They'll rotate 5 or 6 guys in that group. And in the back end, Mark Barron, the senior out of Mobile, Alabama, All-American caliber player, a leader, not just in the secondary, but of this team as well. Dante Hightower on third down as Alabama brings in their dime package. 3rd and 10 for the Golden Flashes. Pass is dropped. Would have been right on the first down line, but Hurdle couldn't hang on to it, and so it's a 3 and out for Kent State.
Well, you got to help your quarterback, especially early on the road, and that's the second drop of the game for Matt Hurdle, and he's their vertical threat. They've been right at that first down marker, but you're talking about early jitters, first game on the road in front of 100,000. Hopefully they'll settle in and get themselves going, Dave.
Matt Reinhardt to punt it away, the senior out of Dover, Ohio. Marquise Mays back to return this punt.
Good punt.
Mays backpedals to the 36. Marquise to midfield. Down to the 36-yard line. No flags on the play. Return of 28 yards. A 51-yard punt Tripped up by Kyle Reese. A.J. McCarron, Andre, gets the start by virtue of being a sophomore, beating out the redshirt freshman. 6'4", 205. He will work the first 3 series this afternoon and then turn it over to Phillip Sims. And the Tide will start with a couple of tight ends. Out of the pistol formation, handoff goes to Richardson. Gain of 3. Lee Stalker, the defensive end, brings him down. Take a look at our Chick-fil-A starting lineups for Alabama offensively. Of course, we've talked about Richardson. DeAndre White, a chance for him to shine with Darius Hanks out for a couple of games, and Duron Carter probably not going to see any action today. Up front, this is a very experienced offensive line led by Barrett Jones, William Vallejos, DJ Fluker, 335 pounds, anchors the right tackle spot as well. McCarron, quick hitter. Pass is caught. DeAndre White on the reception inside the 30. That's a gain of 7 as we take a look at the Kent State defense. Roosevelt Nix up front, folks. Keep an eye on him. 20 tackles for loss last year, 10 sacks as a freshman. Linebacking core led by Luke Batten in the middle. The junior Kyle Reese just had a tackle a moment ago. Also a good linebacker. In the back, they really like Norman Wolfe. Luke Wallet as well. A sophomore out of Ohio. They'll be tested today with this Alabama offense. Here's Richardson. Met, falls forward, close to the first down. I think they might be able to move the chains. We'll see. Roosevelt Nix hanging on for dear life.
Yeah, the MAC Defensive Player of the Year last year, and more known for his pass rush ability, but got tremendous penetration up the field there to somewhat stop or derail Trent Richardson, but Trent's actually able to pick up the first down. You talk about a heck of a player right there. As I mentioned, the MAC Defensive Player of the Year, 43 tackles. Watch the penetration here. Able to slip blocks. When we talked to John Heacock, the defensive coordinator, he said he just has a knack for making guys miss in terms of blocking him.
McCarron. Pass caught. Inside the 20, down to the 17. Marquise Mays. Mays had 38 grabs a year ago. His first of 2011. Josh Pleasant on the coverage.
Well, I like what Jim McElwain's doing with A.J. McCarron. A lot of competition. Sometimes guys get tight. Way to get them going or get them started in a game. A nice, easy slant completion on the first pass he threw, and then that one down the sideline. They'll come back, kind of getting his footing under him early.
Second down and short, maybe a yard and a half out of the pistol again. Richardson, your tailback. They'll work the right side, cuts it back, first down. 5-yard gain brought down by Luke Wallet.
You know, Dave, this was a defense for Kent State. They were 10th in the country last year in defense, only allowing 306 yards, 4th against the run, just giving up 97 yards a game.
Quick hitter near side. Here's White. DeAndre makes a couple of guys miss and just shy of the goal line, down to the 1. That's a gain of about 9. Going to be close to that first down marker.
You see here just a quick set, and as a quarterback, that's your guy. You got to figure out a way to get the football around that defender. And a missed tackle by Josh Pleasant allows for the first down by DeAndre White.
First and goal, Crimson Tide. Out of the I formation. Richardson. Stuffed. No gain on the play. Luke Batten from the middle linebacker position came flying in to trip up Richardson.
Well, Luke Batten had 68 tackles a year ago. Good, solid football player for Kent State.
Take a look at our Red Zone, brought to you by Haviland. The Crimson Tide last year trying to improve on that number. They scored a TD 63% of the time. They'd like to be closer to 70. Richardson powering his way in. Touchdown, Alabama.
Well, the first of many. I got a feeling for Trent Richardson this year. He gets behind Big Anthony Steen and DJ Fluker. right tackle. A tremendous push to get Trent Richardson into the end zone in that 3 tight end formation of Alabama's.
Jeremy Shelley on to attempt the point after. A.J. McCarron with the hold. The kick is on the way. And it splits the upright. So Alabama, their defense forces a 3 and out. The offense does what they're expected to do. They stick it in the end zone on their first possession of 2011. Good look at Bryant-Denny Stadium in all its glory. A huge, massive operation, 101,000 fans. Nick Saban, part of the reason for the expansion, a statue outside of the new north end zone. And 5th season here at Alabama, captures a national championship. First coach to win a national championship at 2 different schools, of course, claiming one at LSU as well.
I had a chance to talk to him yesterday. I asked him, how do you stay so fit? Is it the diet, the workouts?
He chuckled.
Need the workout plan, Coach.
Facing his alma mater. Played back for the Golden Flashes back in the early 70s as a defensive back. So Kate Foster will kick it off once again. Eric Adeyemi, Darius Polk back to return the kick. Adeyemi, much better return this time out over the 25 to the 26-yard line. A 25-yard return. There's Darrell Hazel. His first year as the head coach of Kent State, came in from Ohio State, where he was a wide receivers coach.
He said he wanted to grow this program together, become a family. That's one of the first things he talked about when he got the job. Felt like really too much separation between offense and defense. They needed to become more as one, and the goal for the season this time was just they weren't afraid to talk about winning and going to a bowl game.
Haven't been to a bowl game since 1972. Nick Saban was on that team. Matter of fact, Kent State hasn't had a winning season since 1987. Spencer Keith airmails it out of bounds. Got popped as he let it go, looking for Rashawn Good.
Yeah, big Damian Square was the guy that got the push into the lap pretty much of Spencer Keith and felt himself running out of time. That's what a junior quarterback will do for you. Instead of taking the sack or forcing something, throw it away, come back on 2nd down.
Anthony Murray, a true freshman in it, running back. Eric Adeyemi on an end around is leveled by C.J. Mosley, the sophomore linebacker out of Theodore, Alabama.
Well, Mosley's a tremendous player. At 67 tackles in this one, he is flying up. Assisting D. Milner as well in there, helping out.
Eric Adeyemi out of Miami, Florida, started his career at the University of Kentucky. 3rd down now and 8. Keith, little roll out. Sam Kirkland, the intended receiver, was there. Ball a little bit behind him. And that'll bring up another punting situation for Kent State.
I'm going to put that one on the receiver, Sam Kirkland. You got to, well, 3rd down and long. There is a sense of urgency when you got to get into your route and out of it quick. And the quarterback's back there. He can't hold it a long period of time because you're getting pressure. You're getting tremendous pass rush. Get into your route, get out of it. Ball was on time. You got to make the adjustment.
Matt Reinhardt will punt it away. Its first one went 51 yards. The problem was Marquise Mays returned it 28. From the 27, Mays stumbles and knee hits the turf back at the 26. A 43-yard punt. No return. Darius Polk on that special teams tackle. Alabama's offense led by A.J. McCarron struck for 7 the first time around.
All right, we got some drama. Utah State, Auburn. 7-0 Aggies. Barrett Trotter, Emory Blake 56 yards for the touchdown. Auburn tied it at 7. That was Trotter's first career touchdown pass. He's the guy stepping in for Cam Newton. But on 4th and goal, the QB keeper, Chucky Keaton, from 3 yards out, and Utah State up 14-7. Back to you, Dave.
Anish, Auburn in some trouble. We'll be there next week as Mississippi State comes in, and the show that Mississippi State put on Thursday night, quite impressive.
Boy, Dan Mullen, we thought he would have a good football team. He proved it Thursday night.
Here's A.J. McCarron, his second go-around, going up top. Looking for DeAndrew White, incomplete. McCarron showing a little bit of arm strength. Let's go back to that first drive, Andre. He was very impressive.
Yeah, perfect until that last throw, but got him started with a nice little slant route to DeAndrew White. Then a nice comeback route, starting to build the confidence a little bit to Marquise Mays on the sideline. A little quick hitter to DeAndrew White again, and then the Trent Richardson touchdown run capped off a nice start for A.J. McCarron.
First incomplete pass of the game for McCarron on that last play. Dump it off to Eddie Lacy. Eddie Lacy to midfield. And then some. Inside the 30, falls forward to the 26. Finally tripped up by Josh Pleasant. A gain of 48 yards.
Boy, 2 missed Kent State tackles there allowed Eddie Lacy, Big Eddie, to rip off a big one. And this is a guy you usually didn't catch a pass out of the backfield last year, but he was tremendous running the football. Averaged over 7 yards a carry, but proving that, hey, toss me the rock out of the backfield.
They toss it to Mr. Lacy. Goes airborne. Calvin Tiggle hanging on. We'll get credit for that tackle. Lacy also missing that shoe on that last run. Still able to pick up 48.
Starting to resemble that national championship team even more when Mark Ingram was backed up by Trent Richardson. That 1-2 punch, and now it's Trent's show where he's the starter. Now Eddie Lacy kind of in the Trent Richardson mold where he's coming in as the second running back.
Lacy will stay in. Couple of tight ends in the game. On 2nd down and 8. McCarron over the middle, looking for Mays. Touchdown, Alabama. 24 yards. What a throw from McCarron. Right in stride.
You talk about standing in there and delivering a strike to Marquise Mays. McCarron, heavy pressure from Roosevelt Nix, Kent State's best pass rusher, and he delivers a strike.
One after from Jeremy Shelley, up and good. 24-yard strike. A.J. McCarron to Marquise Mays.
It was pick one. He had the tight end down the sideline wide open, but he throws to Marquise Mays right down the nice little post route. As he's coming out of his break, he's inside of Luke Wallet, the safety. And boy, it couldn't look any prettier, could it?
This receiving core scrutinized somewhat. They looking for that big play receiver since Julio Jones is now with the Atlanta Falcons, and Darius Hanks not eligible for the first 2 games due to the fact that in 2007 as a freshman he played in 5 plays in 1 game, and it cost him 2 to start this year. Also Deron Carter, they had to wait on some eligibility issues. Finally got that cleared up. Joined the team last week. He hasn't really practiced. He'll be available perhaps next week against Penn State.
There's no shortage of talent with Alabama in terms of wide receivers. Only shortage there, experience. They've got plenty of guys who can go get the football out of the air.
Hey fans, the Honda Generator tailgate. We'll get to that in a moment. Here's the kick from Cade Foster. Darius Polk met at the 30. Big time collision. 18-yard return Polk hops up. That's good news. Here we go. Fans, the Honda Generator Tailgate giveaway is back. Don't miss your chance this season to win a brand new Honda EU 2009 generator in the Honda Generator Tailgate giveaway. Each week, we will be awarding a brand new generator to the fan with the best tailgate. Simply send us your video pictures showing how you tailgate for the chance to win. Log on to ESPNplus.com for more details on how to enter. See, I was excited about this giveaway. That's all it was. I was excited.
Well, don't you own one of those Honda generators
I'd like
yourself?
to. No, you know what? I'd like to, though. Thanks for bringing that up. Single setback, Jacquees Terry. I like how you think, Andre. Right in the middle of that line, no gain, drags back. Courtney Upshaw, first one there. Andre, let's talk about this defense for a minute, because we had a lengthy conversation with Kirby Smart, the defensive coordinator, and he really likes his back seven. He says, and he's okay with his front three, but they don't have that devastating, dominating pass rusher they've had in the past, like a Terrence Cody or Marcel Darius.
Yeah, I asked him what the strength of this defensive unit was. He said basically the linebackers and the defensive backs. They've got arguably maybe the best back group in terms of how long they've been at Alabama.
Pass complete out to the 34-yard line, a gain of only 4. Sam Kirkland holds on to that.
And to build on that, Dave, you look at the corners. Daquan Mincy, who is basically their best cover corner. He played in the nickel. He'll slide inside when they go to nickel, but he's the best cover corner. Dre Kirkpatrick, very highly recruited player out of Gadsden, Alabama, City High School. Those two guys, big, 6'3" and 6 foot on the edges, can match up against any wide receiver.
3rd down and 6. Keith just completed his first pass of the game moments ago. Out of the shotgun. Off the hands of Matt Hurdle and Dre Kirkpatrick.
Well, if we're scoring this like a boxing match, Dre Kirkpatrick is way ahead on the scorecard with Matt Hurdle. He has got his number right now. He's breaking on routes before Hurdle even comes out of his break. It's like he's the receiver, and Hurdle going to have to turn defensive back at some point, because you keep throwing at Kirkpatrick, he's going to make you pay sooner or later.
So for the 3rd time, Matt Reinhardt. First 3 Kentucky drives, 9 plays, 6 yards, and 3 punts. Here's Mays back at the 12. Dancing around, stays on his feet, falls to the 20-yard line. 52-yard punt, 8-yard return. Leon Green on that special teams tackle. Big day in the Southeastern Conference. Georgia taking on Boise State, and you can't overlook one in Dallas as well. LSU and Oregon, a top 5 showdown. Alabama 14, Kent State nothing. First quarter football from Tuscaloosa. It is great to have college football underway.
Oh, yes, sir.
And what a year we should have in the Southeastern Conference. Of course, Will Muschamp making his debut with the Florida Gators. Nobody knows what to expect. He's closed every practice since spring. Nobody really knows what they're going to look like. Georgia, of course, Boise State tonight on ESPN. LSU taking on Oregon at ABC. LSU's had to battle numerous issues. What stands out to you, Andre? I'll get that thought after this play. A.J. McCarron in the shotgun. McCarron over the middle. Pass is caught at the 26. But of our storylines, Andre, what stands out?
Well, I think it's LSU having to deal with the loss of Jordan Jefferson, the quarterback. When you go all of spring practice and you bring in Steve Kragthorpe to really mentor him, and then all of a sudden you're without him and you got to make some adjustments. It's a good thing Jarrett Lee has played a bunch for LSU to kind of smooth that over, but they were depending on Jordan Jefferson a lot this season.
2nd down and 5 out of the pistol. McCarron throws to Mays out over the 30. He'll have the first down at the 34-yard line. Sidney Salter.
Boy, easy pickings right there. Those are the ones you love as a quarterback. You catch the secondary playing off, and we call those thunder and lightning. Thunder was when you you get the slot receivers uncovered, just raise up, give them the football. Lightning was outside. When you want to hit one of those outside guys, cornerbacks playing way off, just raise up, give it to him, let Marquise Mays do his thing. And you talk about the corner playing about 10 yards off. That's a 6-yard easy gain before you even rally up.
Having a clock issue right now. Our referee today, Matt Moore, wearing the white hat. Give us a chance to remind Alabama fans you don't want to miss this. You can follow your men's basketball team to San Juan, Puerto Rico, November 17th through the 20th for the 5th annual Puerto Rico tip-off. Support the Crimson Tide as they face off with Purdue, Temple, Maryland, Wichita State, and more. Log on to PuertoRicoTipOff.com and get your tickets today. Great job by Anthony Grant a year ago with the Crimson Tide basketball team, looking for bigger things here in 2011-2012 season. A warm afternoon here at the Capstone.
You talk about 101,000. They couldn't wait for this day and this game to get itself started.
Trying to get the clock situated. Once again, the way the system's set up for today's game, Nick Saban, Jim McElwain, the quarterback's coach, offensive coordinator, have determined each quarterback will get 3 series. This is the 3rd series for A.J. McCarron. Then we will have a chance to get a look at Phillip Sims for 3 series, and we assume that they will alternate like that for most of the afternoon. There's a good look at Phillip Sims, the 215-pound freshman out of Chesapeake, Virginia. Set so many records in Virginia. As a high school quarterback, 10,000 passing yards, 119 touchdown passes, considered ESPNU's #1 quarterback prospect in 2010.
Well, he's behind the 8 ball right now because McCarron's off to a great start. 7 of 8, 112 yards, and a touchdown pass to Marquise Mays. That's tough to start.
Has malfunctioned. We will start with 5 minutes and 33 seconds, and the clock will be kept on the field.
It's going to be hard to duplicate out of the chute.
Well, McCarron has been almost perfect to this point, as Andre just gave those numbers.
Well, you'd expect him to be comfortable. You're talking about, his 2nd year, 3rd year in the system. He's played a bunch last year, got some time last year where he completed 62% of his passes, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. So he has made a nice, smooth transition into the 2011 season.
Jim McElwain telling us yesterday that they have gone back, and every time those guys throw a pass in practice, every single pass is documented, and they keep track of interceptions, completions, drops.
Which, when you talk about 2 guys being even or equal the entire time, the completion percentage is not ideal. The touchdowns, the interceptions during all those practices aren't the same. I just kind of wanted that measuring stick. What makes them exactly equal coming into today? But I think there's going to be a little separation after today's ball game.
Looks like we're back underway. Chris Underwood, a tight end in motion. He'll work the right side. Richardson can't get past Roosevelt Nix, and here come a bunch of white jerseys. Roosevelt Nix is 6 foot, 245 pounds, a sophomore, and you just got a glimpse of why he was able to have 20 tackles for loss last year.
Yeah, the coaching staff says he is great at escaping blocks, and he plays with a high motor and has really earned the respect of his teammates. He was a freshman All-American last year with those 10 sacks.
He only started 1 game last year. How about that?
Make good on the time you get in the ball game, right?
2nd down and 11. Richardson back to the original line of scrimmage. Darius Polk in on the tackle. Great talking to Richardson yesterday, just kind of meandering through the football complex. We just happened to be in a room. He walks by, we sit down and have a great conversation. What a kind young man.
Let me tell you something. For all the accolades he gets on the field, just as deserving off the field. I couldn't have enjoyed my time with him more. We're talking about a legitimate Heisman Trophy candidate in Trent Richardson.
Alabama looking at 3rd down and 10. Over the middle, a little bit behind his intended target, DeAndrew White, the freshman receiver. Josh Pleasant on the coverage, and for the first time today, we will get a look at the Alabama punt team.
And guess who again? Roosevelt Nix, right in the kitchen of A.J. McCarron. He's going to come free right in the middle of the screen. You see him there? Nice little game they play, forces the hand of A.J. McCarron a little bit early, and nice coverage by Josh Pleasant on the back end.
Cody Mandel will punt it away. Punted 41 times last year, 39-yard average. None of his kicks were blocked.
Good punt.
Eric Adeyemi, fair catch at the 20-yard line. So Kent State gets a defensive hold, forces the punt. They get the football back down 14, a 45-yard kick. We have got more exciting SEC football action coming your way next Saturday as 20th-ranked Mississippi State travels to Auburn to take on the defending national champion Tigers. It'll be the Bulldogs and the Tigers next Saturday at noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, right here on the SEC Network. And Mississippi State, 400 yards of offense in the first half, over 600 for the game. Mr. Ballard averaged I forget what it was, 15, 16 yards a carry or something in that game?
16 yards a carry. You're cutting him a yard short.
Sorry.
Sick good.
3 minutes and 44 seconds left. We're having some clock issues here, so 3:44 to go in the opening quarter. Keith, hammer, he's dropped for a loss back at the 12-yard line. Courtney Upshaw along with Daquan Minzy, a loss of 9.
And watch Daquan Minzy, number 24. He's in the slot up in this area. He's coming here, and that's where the pressure's going to come from. Kind of sneaking into your screen. There he is. Now he's got a free run as he and Courtney Upshaw arriving into the living room of Spencer Keith right about the same time. But that in the slot, got to watch that guy if you're the quarterback.
2nd down. Little draw play. That goes to Murray. Nothing happening there. Just a couple of yards. That'll bring up a 3rd down, and let's call it 15, maybe 16.
Boy, what a nice play by Josh Chapman. Engaged with a block of the center, Chris Anzavino, and he's still making the tackle. Kirby Smart described him as a good, sound SEC football player, a good run stopper. Certainly proved it on that down.
A dangerous situation here for Kent State on 3rd and long. Dante Hightower slipping up to the middle of that line of scrimmage. Here he comes. They pick up the blitz. Hightower shakes his man and drops. Spencer Keith just ran right over the offensive lineman.
Yeah, they will line up or line Dante Hightower up in a lot of different places. He can play just about every linebacker position. Watch him here. He's gonna creep here and then make his move to the quarterback. And this is a grown man move right here. I'm going to take your tackle and just whip him all the way to the quarterback.
Trent Richardson had to do that all fall practice, try to block Dante Hightower.
Said he got sick of it.
Point out of the end zone. Reinhardt gets it away, but plenty of running room for Marquise Mays. Backpedaling, lost a few yards as he got it inside the 35, close to the 34-yard line, a 41-yard punt, 14-yard return. Time to get another update from the loveliest village. Anish, what do you got?
Well, Auburn in a little bit of trouble against Utah State. Utah State up 14-7 here on 4th down. Chucky Keaton, Taron Lloyd for the first down. 6 plays later, Utah State would punch it in to make it 21-7. Ensuing kickoff, Trey Mason. He's going to go running for an extended period of time. 97 yards to the house. The Tigers back within a score. It's 21-14. Less than 8 minutes to play in the first half.
Well, at least it's a shootout.
Yeah, but you don't want to be on the wrong side of the shootout early.
How about the spin move from Eddie Lacy? Still on his feet, down to the 15-yard line. A 20-yard pickup, and that is a nifty, shifty run for Mr. Eddie Lacy.
Well, he looked like college football 2012 on EA Sports. How about that little spin move early from Eddie Lacy? You know what? I'm going to give it to you again. Give it, take it away. Unbelievable run.
Quick hitter to the far side. Here's White. Stays on his feet, dancing around inside the 10, close to the first down. It'll be near the 4-yard line. 10-yard pickup.
And kind of how they started A.J. McCarron. A nice little flip out to DeAndrew White from Phillip Sims. And about 10 missed tackles so far in this first quarter, Dave, for Kent State.
Getting close to the end of the first quarter, and Phillip Sims flagged down, hands it off to Eddie Lacy. And we are getting close to the end of the first quarter. Once again, the clocks here at the stadium have malfunctioned, so they're keeping the official time down on the field, and we are definitely inside a minute to play in the first quarter.
Illegal formation on the offense. 5 in the backfield. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
Won't make that man happy. Today's First and 10 line brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, moving forward.
They wanted to identify the playmakers. Said they knew Marquise Mays, what he could do. They needed to figure out who the other wide receivers were going to be. I tell you what, they're getting some answers here early in the first quarter.
Sims, a little too strong, looking for the tight end, Brad Smelly. And that may be the final play.
You look at Phillip Sims, he just doesn't look rushed. Redshirt freshman, looks as comfortable as any freshman that I've watched play the position at quarterback. Not rushed, never panics, always under control. And your unit as an offense, they feel that and feed from it.
Richardson to the right of Phillip Sims. Here's Trent. Powers his way. Touchdown. Trent Richardson from 9 yards out. His second of the afternoon. Richardson a year ago had 6 touchdowns. Well on his way to surpassing that total. Point after is up and good from Jeremy Shelley. So the Tide had a short field. Phillip Sims leads his team on a touchdown drive in his opening series of his young Alabama career.
Let's go back and take a look at that touchdown run from Trent Richardson. I'm starting to wonder if Kent State got a little grease on their hands because of all the missed tackles, reaching, and Trent Richardson showing some toughness at the end of that run to get himself into the end zone. But a nice job of blocking. Chance Womack, William Vallejos, the center up front, clearing the path for Trent Richardson.
Seconds on the game clock. 32 seconds on the game clock.
Matt Moore telling us 32 seconds remain here in the first quarter.
Hey, you talk about a nice 1-2 punch in Richardson and Lacy. Richardson last year
is now operational.
Averaged over 6 yards a carry, and I mentioned earlier Eddie Lacy over 7 yards a carry. So you don't get a break when one guy comes out and the other one comes in. Same dynamic that Alabama had with Richardson and Mark Ingram.
So once again, Cade Foster getting a good workout today. It'll sail to Eric Adeyemi. Eric dancing around to the 27-yard line and drop there. A 23-yard return. Brought down by Vinny Sunseri, a true freshman safety, who will, as we have heard from more than one person, will light you up given the opportunity. Loves to hit.
Played linebacker in high school and has moved to strong safety, and a guy that will just, he has put together some highlights already in spring practice and in fall camp. That is a guy that will bring it to you.
So the clock is operational now. 20 seconds to go here in the opening quarter. Luis Terry back in and running back. Little play fake to Terry. Keith will throw on the run. Gain of 5. Bergevec with his first reception, the sophomore, plays all over the field. They call him a lunch pail guy.
Yeah, he can line up, as you mentioned, in a bunch of different positions. Bergevec is a good receiver out of the backfield. 7 receptions last year, and he had a touchdown.
That's into the first quarter.
Mixed in there as well.
Well, that'll do it for the first 15 minutes of this 2011 season for Nick Saban. Got to be happy to this point. His club up 21-0. Back at Bryant-Denny Stadium here in Tuscaloosa, Dave Neal, Andre Ware, Kara Capuano down on the sidelines. Our SEC Network game of the week. Alabama, 3 touchdowns in that opening quarter. 2 on the ground from Trent Richardson, 1 through the air to Marquise Mays. Kent State looking at a 2nd down and 5. Ball sits on the 32-yard line. Right through the hands of Eric Adeyemi. Robert Lester on the coverage.
I'm still waiting on this innovative Kent State offense. When I talked to Brian Rock, their offensive coordinator, I said, well, who do you resemble? I'm just trying to get a feel for who you resemble around the country. He said, we want teams to resemble us. So I'm waiting. I'm waiting on something innovative.
Right now having trouble moving the ball against this stout Alabama defense that last year finished in the top 10 in so many different categories. Scoring, rushing yards allowed, passing yards allowed, total yards. And just about everybody's back. Keith throwing down the side. Incomplete. Matt Hurdle had his paws on it. Couldn't hold on. Not a bad throw from Spencer Keith.
Well, it's just beating up the hands of Matt Hurdle over and over again. Bunch of drops by this Kent State offense. You can't throw a better pass than this from Spencer Keith. Right there. Cover 2, outside shoulder. Got to make that grab.
Alabama 8 first downs today. Kent State still looking for their first. So once again, a good look at Matt Reinhardt as he will punt it away. Marquise Mays back to return the punt. Stands at the 25. Wobbly kick. Calls for the fair catch and hangs on at the 27-yard line. A 41-yard kick, giving us an opportunity to head to our studios. Anish, what do you got?
All right, Dave, the AT&T Player of the Week. Baylor's Robert Griffin III, RG3, helping engineer an upset of TCU Friday night. 21 of 27, 359 yards, 5 touchdowns. Baylor dropping 50 on the Horned Frogs in the win. Back to you, Dave.
Thanks, Anish. How about that game? We open up with 14-3, Kentucky over Western Kentucky. Barely moved the football.
And then you get just a highlight reel of a bunch of great plays from Baylor. I'm telling you, I don't usually pass out Heisman stuff early. Robert Griffin, unreal.
Another sack for the youngster Roosevelt Nix. He had 10 of those a year ago. He throws Phillip Sims for a 9-yard loss. They're having a tough time blocking Mr. Nix.
Sometimes guys just have a feel for how to get to the quarterback, and Roosevelt Nix, a young player, is a sophomore out of Reynoldsburg, Ohio. He can get there. 2 sacks today for Roosevelt Nix so far, Dave.
You know, we talk about those tackles from loss for Nix. He had 20, 10 sacks. He also forced 4 fumbles a year ago. Sims, a little high on that pass. Mays went up to get it. Fell right on his back, but hops up. Leon Green on the coverage for the Golden Flashes. That'll bring up a third down at 19.
Yeah, deep drop by the linebacker, Byron Tyson as well, the senior from Greenville, North Carolina. Made it a tight window for Phillip Sims to try to squeeze that football into.
Boy, Sims got popped. Incomplete pass, but Sims got leveled right as he let go of the football. Couldn't see who got it. That might have been.
I know getting off the pile was Roosevelt Nix as well. And Jake Dooley along with him, trying to set up a screen to Marquise Mays. If you're grading your scorecard early, it's A.J. McCarron, a little bit ahead of Phillip Sims.
So here's Cody Mandel. Punts it away. Good tight spiral. Adeyemi back to the 35-yard line. Makes a man miss, but there's Dante Hightower. His only special teams is the punt coverage unit. You can see why.
Yeah.
Makes the tackle. Time for us to check in with Kara, who has a special guest.
Well, guys, I don't have a guest, but there's plenty of royalty down here on the Tuscaloosa sidelines, including Chris Carter, former NFL receiver, works for the ESPN networks now in an analyst role, and of course he's the father of upcoming, hopefully, superstar, if you're a Tide fan, Duron Carter. Carter is not dressed for this game today. He's actually using this time to continue to prepare for what he's hoping is his first game action in an Alabama uniform. That's the big game at Penn State next week, Dave.
Thanks, Gary. Yeah, Carter, a guy they're really hoping can come in, make an impact, had 13 catches as a freshman at Ohio State. His position coach as a freshman at Ohio State, Darrell Hazel, the head coach of Kent State.
Well, I'm talking about Duron Carter. You go to that Yahoo video of his workouts, and he was out just, working out. It is unbelievable. And coached by Darrell Hazel, but there's a guy that taught him all he knows, Chris Carter. One of the best in the business. He's on that list for next year's candidates for the NFL Hall of Fame. And I think he goes in next year. One of the best I've ever been around.
Second down and 7. Keith, a quick hitter. Mark Barron steps up to make the play on good. Put a wrap on that story with Duron Carter. Let's head back down to Carroll.
Well, guys, it's never easy to ask a proud father what he thinks of his son, but I went out and asked Chris Carter, is Duron better than you? And he smiled and he said, well, I'll put it this way. He's definitely better than I was at his age, Andre.
No doubt about it. He's 6'5", runs 4'4", and has hands like his dad. And I can guarantee you, in his dad's best days, he couldn't line up and go 4-4, but he could certainly get himself open. And when the ball arrived, he was catching it most times.
Another third down for Kent State. They have yet to pick up a first down. They are 0 for 5 on thirds, and a flag down in the middle of that line of scrimmage.
Full start. Number 67 of the offense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Remains third down.
So now Coach Hazel and his club looking at a third down and 11.
He's having a hard time getting out of the gate. And, a lot of teams this year are going to have a hard time getting out of the gate against Alabama. When you talk about Dante Hightower and Dre Kirkpatrick and Mark Barron, some stars on this defensive unit for Alabama.
3-man rush. The Tide fall back. Pass is caught. At the 45 goes Tyshawn Good, and he's met there by 3 or 4 crimson jerseys. A gain of 7, but well shy of the first down mark.
And Milner, Minzy, both guys there at the same time. I'm telling you, you're going to have to look long and hard to find 4 better, and throw in Milner as well, 5 better defensive backs as a group in the country than they have right here at Alabama.
Matt Reinhardt to punt again. Marquise Mays getting a lot of work as a punt returner today. He stands back at the 10. He will make the play at the 12. Right back up the middle. Stumbles to the 25. 42-yard punt. Give us the opportunity to step aside with 10:48 to go in the second quarter. The tie up 21-0. Alabama leading Kent State 21-0. Nick Saban, of course, facing his alma mater. Getting a nice $1 million paycheck to his former school where he played back in the early 70s. But, you know, there's more to this story than meets the eye. As a quartet of guys from Kent State, Ish Kitchen, Lee Stalker, Jacquees Terry, and the quarterback Spencer Keith all came to Tuscaloosa back in late January to help build a house. They got together with some Alabama Crimson Tide players and stayed around for a weekend, helped build the house, gave clinics to some of the kids that were displaced because of the tornado. And, you know, it's the tornado has had such an impact on this community. And I tell you what, it's had an impact on this Alabama football team. And Nick Saban has stressed to his guys over and over again, there's more to life than just football. And he has gone out and dedicated so much of his time and the players' time to help rebuild this community. I mean, the effort is one thing on the practice field, Andre, but the effort they have put forth in this community has really been astonishing. Yeah, it's a close-knit community. It was already. And then after the tornado, certainly they are a definitely closer-knit community than even before. Well, here's Sims on second down. Hit from behind. Loose football. Who's got it? I think Alabama comes back to get it. Mark Fackler, the sophomore defensive end, forces the fumble. And it has not been a great start here for Phillip Sims. He hadn't gotten a whole lot of help either. No, he was waiting a long time for Kenny Bell to come open on a deep post route and just really ran out of time. And he was the quarterback when Alabama punted the first time with A.J. McCarron. They went right down the field a couple of occasions. But there's the comparison. 1 of 4 to just 10 yards for Phillip Sims, and McCarron just about flawless. 7 of 9, 112 for it, and a touchdown. This is Sims' third series. Pass perfect right over the middle. There you go. Right on the numbers to Marquise Mays. Norman Wolf on the coverage. That's a gain of 15 and picks up the first down. Oh, and sometimes you just got to hit one of those. Nice square in for Marquise Mays. Waits it out, feeling it, the pressure, and throwing a strike. And you see why these guys were so even coming into today's game. Tough on the coaching staff to make a decision. And you see the type of pass right there that Phillip Sims completes. First down and 10. Sims, quick hitter. That could have been picked off. Looking for DeAndrew White. Norman Wolf on the coverage. I'm going to put that one on the receiver. Slant route, you can't choke it down. You got to go ahead and go in there and grab the football. Sims is leading him with the football to come on into the hole, and Andrew White pulls up on him. You know you're going to get hit. You might as well make that grab. There's Eddie Lacy. Boy, the defensive front from Kent State starting to make a little bit of noise here. Loss of 4. Oh, you're talking about a group that 10th in the nation last year in defense. Only 5 starters return to that unit. Jake Dooley in there for another tackle, but against the run, they were stout, Dave. 4th in the country, only allowing 97 yards a game. Well, you don't become a third-best team in terms of tackles for loss if you don't have some success up front. And that's what Kent State has done today. They've had a little bit of success in that area. A little 4-man rush again. This time for Sims to throw the pass. Marquise Mays
I like what Phillip Sims did there, not trying to force one down the field, trying to hit a receiver and allow him to make a play after the catch. Sometimes when you try to go get it all, you wind up making a mistake and throwing into coverage. And Coach Saban coaching him up there a little bit.
Well, another punting opportunity now for Cody Mandel. Eric Adeyemi back deep at the 10-yard line. Fair catch called for by Adeyemi at the 18-yard line. 36-yard punt, no return. Tide leads at 21-0. 7:33 to go before halftime. Today's SEC Network game is brought to you by Champion. It's how you play. Allstate, you're in good hands. AT&T, rethink possible. And by the 5th annual Puerto Rico Tip-Off Classic, November 17th through the 20th in San Juan. Back at Bryant-Denny Stadium, over 100,000 on hand for the Crimson Tide opener of 2011. Got off to a great start. 21 quick points on Kent State. Golden Flashes have forced a couple of punts. And now they have the football back at the 19-yard line. Incomplete. Take a look at this Kent State drive chart, and it is ugly. 6 possessions, 6 3 and outs, 6 punts, 9 total yards.
I think you summed it up. Ugly. When you look at the right side of that column, punt, 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 and more punts.
Second down and 10. Nickel package for the Tide.
A corner blitz coming here. See Dre Kirkpatrick at the top of your screen. And Dante Hightower checks the defense.
Nice catch on the outside. Tyshawn Good with the reception. Take a look at our Haviland defensive shield in Alabama. Andre, we've talked about it. This is a unit that has the potential to be as dominant as any that's been on this field, and there have been some great ones like 1992.
No doubt about it. 10 starters returning. You start to look at even not just the starters, but the substitute players that come in, and they have a lot of depth on that side of the football.
Little receiver slip screen, and first down for Kent State out over the 30 to the 33, maybe 4-yard line. Damian Square brings down Matt Hurdle, and it took a while, but they finally were able to move the chains.
First down finally for Kent State offensively.
Andre, we talk about this defense, how good they can be, and the comparisons. I'm going to have to let this year play out before I can even think about a team as good as the 92 Alabama defense that went on to win a title. That was
some defense.
Keith going up top. Could have been picked off. Robert Lester had a chance. Adeyemi, the intended target, but Keith threw it right into 3 or 4 crimson jerseys.
You know, at some point in your route as a receiver, you got to look back for the football. And it's a little bit late for Eric Adeyemi's, where you can at least go up and become a defender, where it's just not a ball flying to be picked off back there. Just get a hand up, knock it down or something if you can't make a catch or an attempted catch.
Little play action. Some room now for Keith. He'll decide to tuck it and run, and he's going nowhere. Courtney Upshaw right on the spot. Maybe a yard.
Not a guy you want to let get his helmet on you. Courtney Upshaw, who came into camp in great shape. You see him there as the outside linebacker, plays it well because he doesn't allow Keith to get outside. And then when those guys get a chance to make a hit on a quarterback, that's what it sounds like. You get the ooh from the crowd, you know you've been hit.
You know, some say that this is a reach, but when Upshaw's healthy, which he wasn't last year, kind of reminiscent of a former great pass rusher from the outside, Derek Thomas.
Yeah, he's one of their best outside pass rushers. You combine he and Dante Hightower, you got some legitimate guys that can get after the passer.
Well, Hightower and Upshaw converge on that tackle of Jacquees Terry, gain of 2, and looks like we'll see that Kent State punt team again.
Well, you talked to the coach, we talked to the coaches, we talked to Trent Richardson. Guys were excited just to see a different colored uniform in today's game. And Trent Richardson told us, he said, you know, we can't cut our guys in camp, so I got to, you know, hit Dante Hightower coming full speed about chest high. He and Upshaw, I got a little tired of that. I'm ready to go cut somebody down.
Reinhardt, his 7th punt of the afternoon. Big block on the outside. Mays near midfield. Will Lowry comes back to make that big block for the Crimson Tide to free up Marquise Mays. Alabama has the football in good field position when we come back.
He would take the team late in the 4th quarter and would get 6 and would get 7 and would get 5 and 9 and 10 and then finally over the top to score.
Walker, touchdown.
SEC Storied, a new series from the creators of 30 for 30. The first film tells the story of Herschel Walker and his Heisman Trophy career while at Georgia. Herschel debuts this Wednesday, 8 o'clock Eastern time on ESPNU. Folks, there is stuff in this that you have never heard about Herschel Walker. You thought you knew this man? You don't. You need to watch this. An amazing story on perhaps the greatest player this conference has ever seen. You could certainly argue some other guys, but he would have to be in your top 5 of all time. A.J. McCarron back in at quarterback, looking for Smelly, the tight end, incomplete. So coach is sticking to their guns. 3 series apiece. McCarron, great start in his first 3 series, 2 touchdowns. Phillip Sims, his 3 series, 1 touchdown.
You know, and you would expect McCarron to get off to a little bit better start than Phillip Sims. He's had the game experience. It was the same way in the spring game. McCarron had the better first half, and then Phillip Sims, once he got his feet under him, he came out and had an excellent second half to the spring game. So it's fallen right in line with things that happened in the spring.
McCarron nearly picked off. Sidney Salter had his hand on it, batted it away. That'll bring up 3rd down.
I think he was more so going for the knockdown than he was the interception. If he gets both mitts up there, it may stick. The intended target was the big tight end Michael Williams, all 6'6", 270 pounds of it.
Alabama looking at a 3rd and 10. They are 2 out of 5 on 3rd down conversions this afternoon. Last year, Alabama 4th in the conference 3rd down conversions at 44%. McCarron over the middle, little high, and they will say picked off back at the 30-yard line by Josh Pleasant. So the Crimson Tide's first turnover of the afternoon will give the Golden Flashes the football with 4:19 to go before halftime.
Well, and that will even things out. You can't turn the football over, and you want to irritate Nick Saban. That's one way to do it, is to put the football on the ground or throw interceptions. And right there, he just kind of overshoots DeAndrew White. And Josh Pleasant with the big interception. Maybe this kind of turns the tide a little bit for Kent State and gets themselves going offensively.
First down and 10 from just outside of the 30. Anthony Murray, the true freshman running back, a single setback. No gain, maybe a loss of a yard.
Well, he checked the play away from Upshaw because he thought they were going to get a blitz look from that side. Upshaw still makes the play. Very few guys can line up at linebacker and then put their hand on the ground the way he and Dante Hightower can. Look at that in terms of total yards. Dominance here in the first half. 175 to just a quarter, Dave. One little quarter. 25.
Second down and 11. Kent State, though, winning the battle of yardage here in the second quarter, Andre.
I like it. Glass half empty, guy. Not half full, half empty.
Right. That's how I roll.
Delay game on the offense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Second down.
Let's check in with Kara, who has found an Alabama alum.
I mentioned there's some NFL royalty down here today, guys, and I'm with Kansas City Chiefs former Alabama Crimson Tide cornerback Javier Arenas, part of that 2009 National Championship team. What brings you out today, Javier?
A few days off, figure I'd come support the guys, watch some college football and enjoy it,
What's it like for you to be back on the sidelines, not dressed out, listening to all the fans, but not participating?
It's different, but at the same time, I'm taking it in, and it's getting me pretty excited and pretty hyped to, go play my game next week against Buffalo. But I'm just taking it all in right now.
The coaching staff says this defense has the potential to be one of the best they've ever coached. What are you seeing from the D today?
Man, I'm seeing just a lot of energy and excitement, and guys know what they're doing. Let alone the size, good size out there at every position, well coached. It goes without being said, but it's just a well put together defense.
A lot of people think this team has a chance to play for the national championship. Why do you think that's the case?
Because it's a Nick Saban football team, and the players that he recruit, including guys. When I played, and just the skills that he put into, he instilled in us and things like that, man. You can't help but to think that it'd be a national championship football team.
Javier, Dave Neal has a question for you. What do you got, Dave?
Yeah, I just want to know if he was able to get a close parking space. He was calling everybody in the press box.
Were you able to get a good parking space for this one?
It's funny he asked. I got a nice little walk in my back tight right now, so I'm over back at the football complex, so I gotta get to trucking.
All right, Javier, thanks for joining us. Dave, way to put him on the spot, man.
I was at the press box. He's calling everybody up here looking to see if he can get a closer spot. It was comical. Here's Marquise Mays. He's met around midfield and dropped at the 48-yard line. You want to talk about a great return guy. Javier, I mean, he was every
electrical
time.
Yes, indeed. And his Kansas City Chiefs, he enjoyed a nice rookie season as they got themselves into the playoffs. Much expected again from the Kansas City Chiefs. He and another SEC player, Dexter McCluster of Ole Miss. Both guys contributed heavily last year to the success of the Chiefs.
So here's A.J. McCarron with 2:32 to go before halftime. First down and 10. They'll play fake it to Richardson. Roll McCarron to the far side. Mays will make the catch at the 45. Time for us to check in with the studio, get an update on what we can see at halftime. Anish.
All right, coming up on the Cellular South halftime report, Auburn in a world of trouble against Utah State. Tom Rinaldi profiles Carson Tinker, a player on the Tide severely affected by the April tornado in Tuscaloosa. And we check in on Ohio State Luke Fickell making his coaching debut for the Buckeyes.
Hey, Ganesh, we'll see you in about 2 minutes, 10 seconds if this clock continues to run. Here's Trent Richardson, first down. Still driving down inside the 35 to the 34. Give him 10 before Calvin Tiggle drops him, but first down and 10 now for the Tide.
Trent Richardson is bringing the wood, and you see big number 65 Chance Warmack pulling it out in front from that left guard position.
Pass caught by DeAndrew White. That'll stop the clock. To move the chains to 154. He's out of bounds as well, so inside the 20, and another red zone opportunity for the Tide after a 15-yard pickup.
Well-timed throw on the part of A.J. McCarron. And DeAndrew White, we talked a lot to Coach Saban about him. He and both Jim McElwain, the offensive coordinator, and they said all he lacked was experience. The coaches really feel like he can become a big-time player. From a good program in Houston, North Shore High School.
And White lets it go right through his hands. Incomplete pass, 150 to go before halftime. Second down and 10 coming up.
Well, you love him up like that, and then he puts one on the ground on me. Oh, he's a good football. But I think they're going to have a nice group or core of receivers. You get Duron Carter in that mix, and Marquise Mays off to a good start. 5 catches for 64 yards and a touchdown. Andrew White certainly has stepped up this afternoon.
McCarron looking for Smelly. Did he make the catch? No, incomplete. Darius Polk on the coverage, and that'll bring up a 3rd down and 10.
You see it here, well timed again, and to the outside where only Smelly's going to catch it, away from the coverage. And boy, it would have been a tough grab. But the old tight ends, they don't get them thrown. They don't get thrown too much. You got to bring them in when thrown to.
Take a look at our Verizon Red Zone. Alabama last season 84%. They scored 63% were touchdowns. Today they are 3 out of 3 with 3 touchdowns. McCarron. And a flag should come out, and a flag will come out. Darius Polk pushes Kevin Norwood about 5 yards out of bounds.
Well, I don't think Polk knows that the flag's been thrown on him yet. He's giving high fives and has no idea that he's drawn a flag. And that's where, you know, you hear me talk about that spot foul for pass interference. It's because the defensive back knows that he's beaten. All you got to do is grab a guy, and it's just a 15-yard penalty, as opposed to it being
There's
spotted.
no foul on the play. The ball is uncatchable. No foul.
I don't know about that one, Dave.
It's uncatchable, perhaps, because he was knocked 5 yards out of bounds.
Yeah, he's knocked off course, so you know, you start thinking about it. Right here, a little wheel route where he goes out and up the sideline, and you see the pass right there. Hands on him. He's coming back in. How's it uncatchable, and he gets his hands on the football?
Well, here's a chance. 36-yard field goal for Jeremy Shelley from the far hash. A.J. McCarron to hold. Carson Tinker with the snap. The kick is on the way. And Carson Tinker, a man that made a lot of headlines for what he went through with this tornado that ripped through this town, does his job. And Carson Tinker, will have more on this young man at halftime. An unbelievable story you will not want to miss. Many of you that follow Alabama and the SEC know his story already. If you don't, you'll want to pay attention to this. Heart-wrenching and heartwarming all at the same time.
I feel the same way about that pass interference call that was none. Yeah, that was overruled. Look at this. Wheel route out and up. And then you're going to tell me it was uncatchable, and the kid gets his hands on the football. Unbelievable. What a bad call. Right here. Here you go right here. He gets his hands on the football, but yet you rule it uncatchable. I mean, am I not seeing that right?
Doug, your glasses are good.
I had to go to the specs, but I know I could see that one.
Well, Alabama got off to a great start. I mean, they just mashed it right down the throats of Kent State, but kudos to Kent State for hanging in here. They could have let this thing get way out of control. They're still trailing by 24, obviously, but this the way this started, Alabama was just rolling, marching down the field.
Well, what you're going to have in the second half of this football game, depth problems going to take over for Kent State. First 22 will play fine on both sides of the ball on offense and defense, but then a lot of defensive snaps for this football team and a lot of 3 and outs for the offense. They're going to have to move the football in the second half.
Adeyemi again. Out over the 30. They'll spot it at the 32-yard line. 24-yard return.
I'll tell you, you start talking about or comparing the defenses of the 09 team for Alabama and then this year's group. What they don't have is that big space eater in the middle. You know, got some guys in there that are good against the run. Josh Chapman, Damian Square, and Jesse Williams, but guys that just don't push the pass, push the pocket into the quarterback or the pass rushing big guy in the middle like Terrence Cody did.
Robert Holloman getting his first action at running back. Late handoff to Robert. Get a couple. Dante Hightower makes the tackle. Dante with 4 stops today. Half sack to his credit as well. Today's 1st and 10 line brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota moving forward. 2nd down and 8. Approaching a minute to go before halftime. Here's Keith to the wide side of the field. Sam Kirkland makes the catch at the 37, maybe 38-yard line. Give him 3 on the carry.
You look at Alabama, and it looks like a guy may break or he's open. And then all of a sudden, you see the speed of that defensive group where a hole is there and it closes so fast. And not just one defender rallying up to make a tackle. It's 2 or 3 guys.
That is their first timeout of the first half. That will be a 30-second timeout.
Timeout, Kent State. Here's today's Cellular South Conference call, and we'll look at our SEC predicted order of finish. Alabama in the West, but of course, LSU will have certainly a lot to say about that. Arkansas, Mississippi State, Auburn, all 5 of those teams in the West ranked in the top 25.
Boy, Mississippi State's going to be tougher than people think, and I think Florida, don't discount them. When it's all said and done, we've got 2 outstanding coaches, our entire coaching staff of Will Muschamp, Charlie Weiss on the offensive side. Nobody really knows what to expect from the Gators, and they're going to be a dangerous team out of the East. Not a lot of people talking about them.
3rd down and 6 for Kent State. Clock sits at 47 seconds. 4 receivers set. A 4-man front from the Crimson Tide. Hightower in the middle linebacker position. Batted in the air and falls incomplete. And here comes the Kent State punt team once again today.
Well, you just think they're open, and they're really not open. They can close on the football so fast. This Alabama defense almost becomes frustrating for an offensive unit, and to the approval of the head coach Nick Saban.
Busiest man on the field, Matt Reinhardt today. 9th punt coming up. Tell you what, the punt team's done a good job to this point, keeping Mays under control. Marquise has been close a couple of times. Boy, here's a towering kick, sending Mays way back to the 10-yard line. He dropped the punt. Comes up with it at the 15-yard line. It'll be a 4-yard return when it's all said and done. Another good punt from Reinhardt, 51 yards.
He bobbled one earlier, and this one, he was there, just took his eyes off of it at the last second, but able to come up and recover the fumble.
Don't forget, just a few seconds, our Cellular South halftime report. Auburn in trouble. We'll take a closer look at Carson Tinker. We talked about him a little bit. Luke Fickell's Buckeye debut as well. It's all coming up here in a matter of seconds. A.J. McCarron. Hand it off to Eddie Lacy. Eddie still on his feet. Loose football, but he was down, and at the 38-yard line, a 23-yard pickup for Eddie Lacy. He's shown some skills today.
Call him down. I think it's close. Nice job, you see. Good chance Womack pulling around again from that left guard position. And how about the effort on the part of Eddie Lacy? That is close, my friend. Which might actually get a review.
I think Darrell Hazel might be challenging this call. He ran out onto the field.
The previous play will be under further review. The head coach from Kent State requests a review.
Once again, if you have a timeout, you are allowed 1 challenge. That's what Darrell Hazel has done. If you lose the challenge, you lose a timeout. And your ability to challenge another one.
One of those bang-bang plays where the ball's going to come out right about the time the knee is going down. And I actually think that's a fumble. It looks like the left knee's going to go down, and he's lunging forward for more yards.
But right there, the knee is down.
I don't think so. The other angle showed it a little bit better where you think it touches, but he's actually pushing. Here's a better angle right here. Watch the left knee as he's pushing forward.
I'm going to say that he was down.
You know, it's got to be indisputable video evidence.
You know what, Andre? There may have been a little space between that kneecap and the...
I'm just saying. That's close.
We're 0 for 1 already. I hitched my wagon to you in Nashville on Thursday night. We lost.
Yeah, you have the side of his foot pushing, which makes it look like it's down. But he's actually pushing forward, which gets him airborne, and then the ball comes out. I think that's a fumble.
Eddie Lacy came down awkwardly. He's going to head to that locker room. I wonder if he hit his helmet awkwardly.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. Ball was down. First timeout charged to Kent State.
Darrell Hazel is worth the challenge.
It's got to be indisputable video evidence.
Well, Eddie Lacy headed to that locker room. Try to get an update for you. He's had a great start here in 2011. Eddie on the ground today. 48 yards on 5 carries. McCarron over the middle. Pass is caught by Mays. That'll stop the clock with 3 seconds to go. 26-yard pickup. Tiggle on the coverage and the tackle.
Well, if you want to know how to work the pocket, watch A.J. McCarron. This instance, I mean, he steps up, works the pocket, steps into the throw, buying himself a little bit more time to get to Marquise Mays. Watch it here. Protection's great. You get a little bit of feel, and he steps into the throw. Well, that's a nice throw and catch. You can't coach it up any better than that.
Cade Foster will come on, and looks like he will attempt a rather long field goal.
And 2 things you couldn't let happen. A big run, which happened with Eddie Lacy, and a big pass play. That happened to Marquise Mays, and here we are in field goal range.
53-yard attempt from Cade Foster. His long last year, 49. No good. That'll do it for the first half. Alabama strikes early. Got stuck in the mud a little bit in the second quarter, but lead 24-0 after the first 30 minutes of football here in 2011. A number 2 ranked team in the country. Let's check in with Kara.
Coach, this morning we talked about you wanting to learn the identity of this team. What are some of the characteristics you've seen?
Well, you know, I like the way we're playing defense, but, you know, we haven't gotten any turnovers, returned the ball, and we're still a little sloppy and just don't look in sync on offense. So, you know, hopefully just playing some more with new quarterbacks is going to help us get there.
Both quarterbacks have led the offense. What have they shown you?
I think both guys are playing okay. I mean, sure there's some things that they both could do better, but we're pleased with what both of them did for the first time out.
Coach, thanks so much. Dave, still some work to be done, according to Coach Saban.
Thank you, Kara. 24-0 the Tide with the first half lead. Time for us to go to Anish and Matt in the Cellular South studio for our halftime report.
And welcome to the Cellular South halftime report. This Alabama defense, first half coming as advertised, holding Kent State to 22 total yards.
-6 rushing yards, which nobody felt like Kent State was going to come in there and gash Alabama on the ground. And still, that's a very dominant defensive performance. But as Nick Saban pointed out, no turnovers. But they are getting into Kent State's offensive backfield. They get pressure upfield. Look at Courtney Upshaw, the type of guy that can run people down. He maintains containment. Really, that wasn't the best as far as demonstrating his pass rushing ability, but Alabama is the type of team that can get after an offensive play caller and an offensive passer, and they can shut you down in the run. They're almost a very complete defense.
The 2 quarterbacks, A.J. McCarron, Phillip Sims, haven't blown anyone away, but the defense has in the first half. Meanwhile, Auburn, your defending national champion, Gene Chizik, all smiles. Remember after beating Oregon? He wasn't smiling after this. Early on, first quarter, Utah State's Kerwin Williams. 7-0 Aggies. Great hair, by the way.
That's sharp.
Takes some work. And then Barrett Trotter. He's now the quarterback with Cam Newton gone. First career touchdown pass, finding Emory Blake.
No Darvin Adams, no Terrell Zachary. Find your big play receiver from last year, and Emory Blake, often overlooked, and he shows up big already early.
Give Utah State credit. They went forward on a big fourth down. That led to a scoring drive, but then down 21-14. That's Michael Dyer, MVP of the BCS championship game, tying it up at 21. Let's take a look at a student-athlete that could be one of the finalists for our Capital One Cup Impact Performance of the Week. Kentucky soccer senior Kelsey Panyadi scored a goal in each of her first 3 games as the Wildcats are 4-0. And Arkansas junior Solomon Hale on the cross-country SEC watch list. Log on to CapitalOneCup.com to vote for this week's Impact Performance. Still ahead here on the Cellular South Halftime Report, Tom Rinaldi profiles one Alabama football player who was struck in ways unimaginable by an April tornado.
This Halftime Report is brought to you by Cellular South, with easy access to countless free Android apps. Visit cellularsouth.com/Discover Center for the best apps for you today.
Alabama pitching a shutout at the half. The offense led by Trent Richardson. 9 rushes, 28 yards, 2 touchdowns, tied, rolling 24-0 over Kent State. On April 27th, a devastating tornado ripped through the college town of Tuscaloosa, Alabama. The tornado claimed the lives of 6 University of Alabama students. And as Tom Rinaldi tells us, it forever changed the life of one Alabama football player.
In a place defined by the tide, it will be a day forever scarred by the wind. Not measured in miles per hour, but in moments and lives. Those touched and those taken.
There was a tremendous amount of devastation. It was probably the most devastation we've ever witnessed in our lifetime. As soon as we realized the magnitude of what happened, we sort of circled the wagons and said, we need to check on all the players. We need to find out where they are. Is anybody injured? Did anybody lose their home?
Are you filming? Yeah. The sea is massive.
The afternoon of April 27th, the deadliest tornado in the history of Alabama tore through Tuscaloosa.
Damn it, go back. We're fine.
Carson Tinker, Alabama's starting long snapper, was at home with his 2 roommates and his girlfriend, Ashley Harrison, when they sought shelter in a closet as the twister bore down.
When I could hear my house falling apart, I mean, we knew the storm was coming, and we got in that closet, but we never saw it. We didn't know how big it was. And we could literally hear our house ripping apart.
It was pitch black. I couldn't see anything, and you couldn't hear anything besides the noise. The house just started shaking, and then it started breaking apart, and it just went on from there to where just the whole house disintegrated.
The last thing I remember is I was holding on to Ashley, and I was just squeezing her, and then I just got pulled out. I mean, just like that, and that's the last thing I remember.
The wind threw Tinker 100 yards through the sky. He landed in a field across the street, unconscious.
I had a concussion. I had scratches and tears all over my body. A ligament was pulled off the bone in my wrist. Everything is just a blur. The only thing I can remember is standing on that field and just yelling for Ashley.
Across Alabama, 247 people died in the day's tornadoes. In Tuscaloosa, 50 were killed, including Ashley Harrison. She was 22 years old.
Yeah, I shouldn't be here, you know. I know that I'm here for a reason, just like there's a reason that Ashley's not here. I think about that every morning when I wake up, that I'm blessed to have this day, and I'll try to make the best of it. So.
As the city strives to mend and its people seek to heal, so has Carson Tinker in his body and his heart. From hospital to rehab, he's worked to recover. Football has helped, with team as family.
Everybody came and saw me. All my coaches came and saw me. My team came and saw me. And that really helped me get through a lot of things that I had to go through.
The presence of his teammates has probably been as much help and support as anything we've tried to do for him.
We had a strong brotherhood before everything, but now I feel like we're stronger through this.
A new season arrives in Tuscaloosa. Carson Tinker is a senior now, back in uniform, again on the field. For him and for many, the tide returns, yet the wind remains, swirling and pushing.
Right now, I'm trying to get better, every day with rehab and get ready for the season. I feel like I have a responsibility to do what needs to be accomplished. I mean, in the long run, I'd like to do anything that I can to help other people out that have been through similar things that I have.
Tom Rinaldi reporting. Meanwhile, Alabama leading Kent State 24-0 at the half. The Tide defense holding Kent State to just 22 total yards.
I think Herschel's the greatest that's ever been.
My God almighty, he ran right through 2 men. This is incredible.
With Matt Stinchcomb and Ish Schroff here on the Cellular South Halftime Report, looking at some of the SEC games that you'll see later today. BYU, Ole Miss, Missouri State, and Arkansas. Florida Atlantic at Florida, and ECU at South Carolina. Of course, the two late ones, the biggies, with LSU taking on Oregon and Georgia taking on Boise State.
And a little surprising, huh? South Carolina changing things up at quarterback.
Yeah, going with Connor Shaw to start instead of Steven Garcia. Ohio State, Luke Fickell making his debut as the Buckeyes' new head coach. Joe Bowserman, now the starting quarterback. The senior finds Jake Stoneburner, 14-0 Ohio State.
Starts strong in his career, obviously, for Ohio State. The quarterback filling in for Terrell Pryor, who's no longer with the team.
Oh, watch the concentration here by Andrew Sweat. Make sure he gets his feet in bounds. He's got the ball. It's an interception. Ensuing drive, Bowserman to Stoneburner. Those two have hooked up 3 times, 28-0, Buckeyes leading. Hey fans, the Honda Generator Tailgate Giveaway is back. Don't miss your chance this season to win a brand new Honda EU 2000i generator in the Honda Generators Tailgate Giveaway. Each week we'll be awarding a brand new generator to the fan with the best tailgate. Simply send us video or pictures showing how you tailgate for your chance to win. Log into ESPNplus.com for more details on how to enter. Marquise Mays, big first half for the Tide. 7 catches, 97 yards, and a score. Bama rolling 24-0 at the half.
This halftime report is brought to you by Cellular South, with easy access to countless free Android apps. Visit cellularsouth.com/Discover Center for the best apps for you today.
Utah State has just tacked on a field goal, and the Aggies leading Auburn 24-21, 4.5 to play in the third quarter. Meanwhile, Alabama leading Kent State 24-0. Trent Richardson, a pair of touchdown runs in the first half. The second half coming up next.
Nick Saban clapping because his team put up 24 first half points, and that's where we stand. 24-0 Alabama over Kent State, getting ready for third quarter football. Dave Neal, Andre Ware back with you in our press box facilities here at Bryant-Denny Stadium. And obviously, Andre, the topic of conversation for the last few months as far as this football team's concerned, the quarterbacks. Your thoughts about the first two guys? A.J. McCarron got the start today.
Well, it's kind of played out like the spring game, so to speak. A.J. McCarron, he got off to the fast start. Nice in route to Marquise Mays. He was on time, I thought, in rhythm. You see the touchdown pass here. Nice, well-thrown football back to Marquise Mays. Phillip Sims got up to a slow start in the first part of the spring game, as he did in this one. Overthrowing a receiver, holding on to it a little bit too long here, taking a sack with a fumble. You look at it, it's just one of those deals where a young player who hadn't had game experience, he will get better as he gets more reps in live action.
10 completions for A.J. McCarron, and that one 3 for Mr. Sims as well. Time for us to take a look at our Gulf Shores and Orange Beach playbook, and we go back to a touchdown from A.J. McCarron.
Yeah, you look at it, well-timed. You got the safety here. He cannot give up inside position to Marquise Mays. He's going to stem him outside and then break to the middle of the field where there's absolutely no help. And A.J. McCarron just shoots it right down the middle of the field. Marquise Mays with the speed, able to go get it. Well-timed and a nice grab by Marquise Mays.
Alabama will get the football here to start the second half. How about Marquise Mays, the half he had, by the way? 7 receptions, 97 yards, 8 catches, or 8 punt returns for 96 yards. And now a kick return. Marquise still going strong. He is racking up the yards today. That is a 39-yard return for Mr. Mays. Speaking of stats, here's our first half stats brought to you by Crystal. Nothing like it. And the defense of Alabama has been all that we expected to this point. Minus 5 yards on the ground for the Golden Flash.
I'm going to go on a limb and say that probably leads the nation in terms of defense against the run. Passing on total yards, boy, it's just a dominating performance by this Alabama defense.
So Phillip Sims gets the start here in the second half. He'll work with Trent Richardson at tailback, who has the football. Nice tackle on the edge. Roosevelt Nix.
Well, and I tell you what, if Roosevelt Nix doesn't make that tackle, it's off to the races. Great block on the edge by the big tight end, Michael Williams, and he's about to free up Trent Richardson to get to the second and third level of the defense. It's the guy that's played a heck of a game for Kent State, Roosevelt Nix, that makes a great tackle.
Gain of 3 makes it 2nd and 7. Sims wide open at the 40-yard line. Finds his intended target, Brandon Gibson, his first catch today. That'll be 18 Alabama yards.
Well, you see why it's so hard to separate these two quarterbacks, and it's playing out exactly like the spring game, Dave, when we were here. Phil Sims gets the start in the second half. All of a sudden, his feet are under him, and he's starting to complete passes.
Richardson still in as the single setback. That's Smelly, the tight end, in motion. Delay handoff goes to Mr. Richardson. Powers his way inside the 30, give him an extra yard. So 7 on that carry. Be 2nd down and 3. I didn't think Alabama ran the ball that well in the first half. Eddie Lacy had a couple of good moves. But as a whole, you look at Alabama in the run game, 16 carries, 63 yards.
Yep, and you look at Trent Richardson just averaging just over 3 yards a carry. So I know he's had the 2 touchdown runs. You expect a little bit more from this experienced Alabama offensive line.
Here's Sims. Batted in the air. Incomplete.
That's one where he's going to kick himself tomorrow in film study. He had 2 receivers just sitting over the ball, one right over the center, and the other kind of flanked out a little bit. You'll see right here, nothing's there. The tight end, Brad Smelly, is wide open. Drop it off. It's 2nd down and let him run for the first down.
So now it's 3rd down and 3. Sims out of the shotgun, empty set. Hit from behind. Ball's batted in the air, and it's intercepted at the 25-yard line. Sims hit right as he was letting the football go. The big hit from Byron Tyson and picked off by Sidney Salter.
Well, he's just going to come off the edge, and this is one where third down, every quarterback in America should expect pressure. If it's not a running play, everything speeds up, and if you're taking your time, it's a faster game. Byron Tyson right there to free it up, and then Sidney Salter with the interception.
Second interception by Alabama today. Terry trying to work that left side, gets 4 on the carry. Terry, of course, one of the young men, the 4 from Kent State that came over to Tuscaloosa this summer to help build a house.
They rolled basically running back by committee. That was Terry and Travion Boykin, a freshman, who we may see right now, big 260-pound freshman running back who was headed to Wisconsin. They wanted him to play fullback. He said, Kent State's going to give me an opportunity to play running back.
Well, they'll play fake to Durham. Keith will throw. That's batted in the air and out of bounds, incomplete. Bring up third down and 6.
Well, those windows might be there, but by the time Spencer Keith raises his arm to throw the football, the window is closed, and they are breaking on the football. I don't know of a secondary that I've seen in recent years that it's there and they take it away so fast because everybody on the back end has closing speed.
Spencer Keith having a tough go of it. 8 of 20, 28 yards, and he won't be the first quarterback to have a problem against this defense. Dime package, 6 defensive backs for Alabama. Flag is down, pass is caught. That'll be good enough for a first down if it holds up. Went to Matt Hurdle. But a flag down, back at the line of scrimmage.
I think it's going to be an offsides penalty against Alabama, so Kent State going to move the football here and pick up a first down.
Offsides on the defense, number 21. That penalty will be declined. First down.
Dre Kirkpatrick getting a little head start. So that'll be a first down for Kent State. They were averaging less than a yard per play in the first half. There's the big boy, Trayon Durham. No gain on the play. Courtney Upshaw read the play well, picks up his 7th tackle of the afternoon.
Just so quick to the football. We're talking about 2 All-American type players in Courtney Upshaw and Dante Hightower. All the guys on the back end, it makes it tough. They won't give up very many big plays defensively. You don't have a lot of time as a quarterback to hold it, to let anything develop down the field, and that's not what this defense is built on, Dave.
4-man front for Alabama. Keith. Double clutches, pass incomplete, was looking for Tyshawn Good. 11:15 to go here in the third quarter. It's been all Alabama.
We talked to Kirby Smart yesterday about this defensive unit and how it's built and structured, and they are built to stop the run, and they say we might give something away in terms of pass rush, but we can get that from our linebackers. But they are built to stop the run. They recruit that way. And on the offensive side, it's run the football. You're going to win a lot of games if you can do both very well.
Keith rolling out. Incomplete. Adeyemi makes the catch, but he was out of bounds. Pressure came from Dante Hightower. And that'll bring up a 4th down and 9. It looks like the Kent State punt team making their way back onto the field.
And there's Dante Hightower. Very few guys can play middle linebacker and go from that position to putting his hand on the ground and become a pass rusher from the edge. The more you can do, the more valuable you become. Certainly scouts on the next level are aware of that.
The Andrew White will give Marquise Mays a breather. The 10th punt of the game for Kent State. Andrew White's first punt return. He takes it the 18-yard line. Andrew out to the 29-yard line, a 44-yard punt. Alabama will have the football when we come back. Stay with us right here on the SEC Network. Today's SEC Network game is brought to you by Gulf Shores and Orange Beach, where SEC families come to play. The Chevy Model Year Wrap-Up. Get in on our greatest model year yet. Regions Bank, it's time to expect more. And by Woodman of the World. Dave Neal, Andre Ware, Kara Capuano, the SEC Network gang with you here from Tuscaloosa as we open up the 2000 season with you. Alabama, the second-ranked team in the country, trailing only Oklahoma in the AP Top 25 poll with the football. And Phillip Sims back in at quarterback. Hands it off to Trent Richardson. Nothing happening there. Actually, might have lost a half a yard or two.
Kent State got tremendous penetration there.
Well, Trent Richardson is today's real deal. Brought to you by Wendy's. Last season, 1,600 all-purpose yards. Today, 38 yards on the ground, couple of TDs. Hasn't had that explosive play yet.
Kind of waiting on him to hit that home run. He's known for doing it. Just hadn't had a whole lot of opportunities.
Smelly makes the catch, falls forward to the 35-yard line. Luke Batten with the tackle. Gain of, call it 8. That'll bring up a third down, and let's call it 4 for the tie.
Perfect situation. Everything's still available to you in that playbook. That's what you're trying to do when you get yourself behind the down and distance marker. Trying to get to a manageable third down situation.
That pass is picked off right into the hands of Norman Wolf, who will take it inside the 5. Did he get in? No, out of bounds at the 3. 36-yard return, and it'll be first and goal for the Golden Flashes. And another INT for Phillip Sims.
Well, when you talk to young players, when they reach the collegiate level, first thing they talk about is the speed of the game. This, in high school, is open. In college, it's too late, and the guy's going the other way with the football. He had the receiver. If he's on time with the football and he gets it out, he's late with it, and they make him pay. Norman Wolf makes him pay. He had a breakout season last year when he had 5 interceptions, and that tied for 3rd in the MAC.
Out of the I formation. First and goal. Kent State from the 3. Keith to throw. Incomplete. Had his all-everything, Tim Urchevek, open and just couldn't connect.
Well, he tried to sell the fake big time. They don't buy it. He fakes it in there to Terry, and Damian Square forces this bad throw. He gets tremendous penetration, and Urchevek is unable to kind of get his body turned around and adjusted to make the catch. But credit that one to Damian Square with a nice pass rush.
Second and goal. Touchdown, Kent State. Wide open in the middle of the field was the tight end, Justin Thompson. 3-yard strike from his quarterback, Spencer Keith.
That's the old kind of a bunch formation route where you go flat flag and then a drag. You see it here. He's going to come wide open. Thompson, he's the drag portion of it coming from the other side. And those principles, you read the flat, the flag, and then you check it down to the tight end over the middle. A nice job by Spencer Keith to kind of get through the reads and get it to Justin Thompson.
Freddie Cortez with the point after. It's up and good. So the interception pays off for Kent State. Norman Wolf got it to the 3 with the interception. And then Spencer Keith hits Justin Thompson, and the Golden Flashes have their first touchdown of the year. When we come back, we'll get the latest on the defending national champs. Stay with us.
Auburn and Utah State. Boy, the Aggies are feisty. Up 24-21. Barrett Trotter here with the play fake. Finds Trevante Stallworth, 39 yards for the score. Auburn, with less than 2 minutes to go in the third, takes its first lead of the game. But Utah State going 80 yards on their next possession. They lead by 3 with 11:20 to play. Auburn, Mississippi State, by the way, next week's SEC game of the week.
Thanks, Anish. Andre, I'm going to give you credit. It's like you know it's like you've been around the game for a little bit. You told me today, you go, watch out, Auburn. Utah State's going to come in there and give you some trouble.
Yeah, and they've done every bit of that. 31-28, and now they're into the fourth quarter.
Kent State takes the interception. And the result is a 3-yard touchdown pass, their first score of the afternoon. Alabama will get the football back again. Now 2 interceptions today for Sims, 1 for McCarron. DeAndrew White bobbles the football, brings it out over the 20 to the 24-yard line, and that'll be where Alabama will set up their offense. We'll see who gets the call here. It looks like A.J. McCarron, but Philip Sims. Andre, break it down.
Just a little bit late all day long or all afternoon. Right there, he had the intended receiver, Kenny Bell. You got a 1, throw to the outside shoulder, but 2, you better be on time when you go there. And he's just a little bit late, and it cost him an interception, and then that led to the first points of this Golden Flashes football team.
Eddie Lacy back in the game. We saw him leave at the end of the first half. He's back in, makes a catch and a nice run. Eddie Lacy has had a nice afternoon of football. He'll pick up 11 on that little throw and catch.
A nice block by Chance Warmack.
Let's check in with Karen.
Well, guys, Eddie Lacy had a little cut over his eye that they had to mend up at the half. But what I just saw after the defense left the field following the Kent State score was linebacker Dante Hightower challenging the offensive line to step up and be leaders. He implored them to have more energy and leadership up there.
That'll get their attention.
Here's Lacy. Stays on his feet. Not much room to run. Only a couple of yards on that play before he's pushed back. Led by Lee Stalker, the defensive end.
Well, you know, Dante Hightower doesn't say a whole lot. Just kind of goes about his business. But when he challenges you, and being a senior, been around this program a long time and seen a lot of success, he goes after the offensive line, and that's a guy they all respect. And those words mean something. They hit home with everybody on the team.
Lacy will stay in the game to the left of McCarron. Lacy, by the way, 5 carries, 49 yards, 2 receptions, 59 yards. McCarron stands and throws. There's Marquise Mays, who's also had a nice afternoon here at Bryant-Denny Stadium.
Boy, you like what A.J. McCarron's doing right now, and I can guarantee you the coaching staff likes it as well, the timing. See him, he doesn't hold the football long. It's there, it's open, let him have it, and that window doesn't stay open very long between Calvin Tiggle and Josh Pleasant.
21-yard pickup makes it first down and 10. Alabama at the Kent State 43-yard line. Out of the pistol formation, the handoff to Lacy. Cuts it back. Eddie Lacy inside the 35 down to the 34-yard line. Give him 8.5, maybe 9. Mark Fackler brings him down, a backup defensive end.
Well, let's go back and take a look at that pass again. What I like here as well, not only the timing of the pass, but he's going to throw him away from the safety, almost like a deeper out route in cover 2, where you get the corner barely leaking back, but you can't throw it up the field because it gives the safety time to come down and make a play. You flatten the receiver off with a throw, you're throwing him open. Boy, that's operating at a big-time level right there.
We'll bring the chains in. You know, if you're Phillip Sims at this point, and you're watching the game too, and you're seeing McCarron move this team like he is, I mean, what's going through his mind right now?
Well, it's been all equal footing, and you've had basically the same players on the field with both guys. Right now, I think if you had to base it on 7-11 left in the third quarter, I think it's A.J. McCarron going forward, and I think he's earned the start at Penn State next week.
You've talked about separation. You and I in our conversation, we've talked so much about this, my ears are bleeding, but separation has been a word you keep going back to. Somebody needs to separate themselves.
I think he's done that today, Dave, but no, with his performance. And as well, when you have a battle like that and you take it into fall camp and into game day, I don't think either guy gives you his best because both are so tight and they don't want to make a mistake. When one or the other's named as the starting quarterback, you will see his performance take a huge step forward.
McCarron, a little play fake to Lacey. Stays in the pocket, dumps it off to Eddie. Here's Eddie to the 25, down to the 20, still moving around.
Oh, I like Eddie Lacey.
Wow. They said he had a good camp, paying off. And some more missed tackles by Kent State. They're now up to 17 missed tackles.
Well, when we came here in the spring, we talked about Eddie Lacey. It was the fumble problems. He's put that away. That's in the rearview mirror. And now he is playing some big-time football for Alabama. Tough to bring down.
That was a gain of 17. Trent Richardson back in the ball game now. Trent said, enough of that. Let me get some of this, right? McCarron, little screen to Richardson. Does he get in? They will say just shy. His knees down at about the half-yard line. He needed 17 yards for the touchdown. Give him 16.
Almost the third touchdown for Trent Richardson in this ball game. It hadn't been a whole lot of yards on the ground, but boy, he is still as productive as ever. You see right there, nice timing in terms of when to let the defensive end go. Gives that number 3 to McCarron so he can just square up and hit him, throw him a nice catchable football. That one doesn't have to be drilled.
Tide can't get it in. A.J. McCarron trying to sneak it in. Remember in the spring game when McCarron led his first drive all the way down to about the 2-yard line? He fumbled.
Yeah.
Mark Barron picked it up, ran it back the other way.
Kind of a wake-up call for him because he played absolutely fantastic after that, the remainder of the first half. And then it was Phillip Sims who was outstanding the second part of the spring game.
So Alabama will line up again. Second down and goal. This time it's Richardson. He powers his way in.
I don't know if Dante Hightower had anything to do with that, but Big Chance Warmack has played an outstanding football game, and they go behind the guy that's successful, big 6'3", 320-pound junior out of Atlanta, Georgia, Westlake High School. And he has pulled and done some fabulous things up front.
Jeremy Shelley with the point after. It is up and good. Trent Richardson with 3 touchdowns today.
Well, you just get tremendous push. You see Barrett Jones in there moving people around, and Trent Richardson just finding the goal line, getting himself into the end zone.
Obviously, you lose Greg McElroy, you lose a Mark Ingram, you lose a Julio Jones, and you perhaps will have some issues. But Nick Saban the last 5 years, has just always had a top 5 recruiting class. And those are going to be hard numbers to replace, but there's plenty of talent out there.
It will, but here's what I think. I think once they settle on a quarterback, and the reason why I say that whoever they settle on is going to take a huge step forward, that pressure's off his back. Now he knows I'm the guy. Everybody else knows he's the guy. He'll go out, and if it's McCarron, he's spreading the football around. that's going to loosen things up for Trent Richardson and Eddie Lacy to start to run the football a little bit better. They're not going to face a lot of defenses that'll be packed in to stop the run the way Kent State has been throughout most of this ball game.
McCarron 14 of 22, 226, a touchdown and a pick. Pretty good numbers for the sophomore out of Mobile, Alabama. (31-3) or 31-7. Alabama out in front here in the third quarter. 5:16 to go in the third stanza. Kicking it off once again, Cade Foster. Sam Kirkland and Eric Adeyemi back to return, and Eric having a busy day returning kicks for Kent State. Gets it to the 25 and is pushed back there. A 19-yard return, and the Golden Flashes offense will head back out on the field. And Alabama fans, you do not want to miss this. Follow the men's basketball team to San Juan, Puerto Rico, November 17th through the 20th for the 5th annual Puerto Rico tip-off. Support the Crimson Tide as they face off with Purdue, Temple, Maryland, Wichita State, and more. Log on to PuertoRicoTipOff.com and get your tickets today. And if you're nice, maybe Anthony Grant lets you room with him. I'm sure he'll have a suite down there.
Little hoops action.
Boy, it was electrifying last year at Coleman Coliseum. Anthony Grant really put together a nice basketball team. We'll see what he'll have in store in a couple of months. So here's Kent State out of the eye. Spencer Keith still in at quarterback. That ball is batted in the air as Keith is hit right as he lets it go. Jesse Williams getting in there.
Big Jesse from Brisbane, Australia, by way of West Arizona Community College, and he had a few family members here in from Australia. 14 relatives and friends at the game today.
Big boy, 6'4", 320. Four-man front. Adeyemi goes in motion. Will fake it to him, and Keith will roll out. He's just not been in sync. You see him as he let go of that pass. He's working on getting his shoulders turned. That ball's sailing on him a little bit.
You do that before the throw and not after. A rough day for Spencer Keith. I tell you what happens to a guy like that. You've been hit so many times all day long, and you start seeing jerseys, just a flash of burgundy or maroon, and it's affecting him now. And you're starting to see it as he throws passes. The accuracy just not there.
Now you're looking at 3rd down and 10.
You start thinking about getting hit rather than hitting open receivers.
And a timeout taken by Darrell Hazel. That'll be their first. Because you know Alabama's defense licking their chops on a 3rd down and 10. And with that timeout, we will step aside. 5:01 to go in the third quarter. Bryant-Denny Stadium on a warm afternoon. Cloud cover beginning to take hold, and the winds have picked up. It's a tropical storm making its way into the Tuscaloosa area. Heavy rains expected over the next few days in the south. Alabama up 31-7, but Kent State looking at a 3rd down and 10. 5:01 to go, third quarter.
Boy, expect some pressure. You see Dante Hightower right there, milling around the line of scrimmage. Here they come.
And there goes Keith. A loss of 7. First man on the spot, C.J. Mosley, along with Will Lowry.
See the pressure coming, and it's coming just about everywhere. Will Lowry is the guy that arrived first. He missed, and then everybody else there just kind of C.J. Mosley there to clean things up.
DeAndrew White back to return the punt. Low snap. Not much Reinhardt can do. You can only punt so many times before you got to think a mistake's going to happen somewhere. Long return, a bad snap, a shank punt. Well, they got the bad snap and cost Kent State, as that was the 11th time Reinhardt went back in punt formation today.
And I think it's Hardy Buck who arrives there first, and he's still going to try to get it off, but Hardy Buck's ready to take it off his foot. He had to reel it back in. And then Trey DePriest, the freshman outstanding linebacker, is there to make the tackle.
First and goal, McCarron. Hand it off to Lacey. He's in for the touchdown from a yard out. Eddie Lacy with the touchdown, his first of 2011.
I mean, that'd be a whole lot of rushing yards, but a lot of rushing touchdowns. That's even more depressing for a defense when you just kind of, you're getting it at like 3 and 4 and 5 yard chunks. Eddie Lacy here just downhill, and right there you see Big Womack paving the way again.
Well, time now for a look at SEC grades, brought to you by Regions Bank, and one of the greats to ever play here at Alabama. You might recognize that haircut. How about Bobby Humphrey? Second all-time in school history with 3,420 yards on the ground. A dynamic player. It's almost, there have been some good running backs come through here over the past few years, and you forget sometimes about guys like Bobby Humphrey. You watch the film and you go, man.
Yeah, I love that upright running style, and it seemed like every time he touched the football, he had a chance to go the distance.
Eddie Lacy's almost gone the distance a couple of times. He's had a really solid day. 8 carries, 58 yards, a touchdown, 3 receptions, 76 yards. You know, a knock on Eddie early in his career here was he had fumbleitis, and people were a little concerned about putting him in a game, but we were talking to Jim McElwain about that yesterday, and he says, you know, that's in the past. We haven't seen any issues at all. He has been a steady performer. He's a clear number 2 running back. He'd be number 1 on a lot of teams. Eric Adeyemi again on the return. Bouncing around like a pinball. Dropped at the 17. 14-yard return. Good coverage again by the Crimson Tide kickoff team as we look at the Alabama tailbacks.
You see the yards there. Just 37 yards for Trent Richardson. But he's been in the game when there had been an extremely short field. So they hadn't had an opportunity to really break a long one yet. Eddie Lacy has had some outstanding runs, and he's right on pace with last year's production in terms of yards per carry, where he was 7.2 last year. He's 7.3 this afternoon.
First down and 10. And handoff goes to Jacquees Terry. Gain of a couple on the play. Alex Watkins getting some work. Backup linebacker makes his first tackle of the afternoon.
A couple of new bodies in there. Alex Watkins checking into the game as well. It's Stinson, who's now in at defensive end.
Four-man look by the Tide. Keith dropped again back at the 10-yard line. Quentin Dial gets it on the sack parade. The junior out of Pinson, Alabama. Loss of 9 on the play. The 3rd Alabama sack this afternoon.
Boy, watch this. He's right there. And watch this move. Nice little swim move. Set him up. Get your hands off of him. And then right between 2 guys and into the quarterback's lap. What a nice job of pass rush there by Quentin Dial. Just a junior. Plays behind Jesse Williams, but gets plenty of playing time.
good. Gets hammered in the process, trying to corral the football. He pops up, but he got leveled.
Yeah, I think it was Daquan Menzie, and he was just never stopped. Took a running start, he and Mark Barron, and watch this. Ouch. Barron will knock you out.
Oh, man.
That's one to remember right there.
The senior out of Mobile, Alabama. Two-time All-SEC performer, first-team All-American. 169 career tackles, 10 career interceptions. Tore a pectoral muscle last year. One hopper to DeAndrew White. DeAndrew down to the 30, and he is level. Ball's batted in the air and taken out of the air by Kent State. That was a strange play.
Spot you one, I'll get one right back.
Sam Kirkland lays the wood to DeAndrew White, and Calvin Tiggle comes up with the football. Wow.
Nobody more disappointed than DeAndrew. Right there, you watch it and watch the lick. You're kind of spinning, so you really don't see who's going to hit you. And he puts the helmet right on the football, right out of the spin, and just gets level.
And that looks like Tiggle might be suffering from a cramp. He's got that right leg up and bending that foot back. There is DeAndrew White.
Yeah, just kind of in an awkward position, and you don't see a guy coming. You can talk about coaching all you want to and carrying the football high, but if a guy gets a shot to put his helmet right on the football, kind of hard to hold on to it.
Well, we've got more exciting SEC football action coming your way next Saturday. Number 20 Mississippi State will travel over to Auburn to take on the defending national champion Tigers. Mississippi State and Auburn next Saturday at noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, right here on the SEC Network. Auburn in a tussle right now with Utah State.
Yeah, they're down to about 4 minutes left in that game, and Utah State's still ahead. Getting late. I really felt like Auburn would struggle this year. They just lost a little bit too much, both on offense and defense. And when you start talking about the offensive line, Michael Dyer is a great running back, but there's not some guys in continuity in front of him to block for him. It's going to be tough to duplicate what he did last year.
Here's Keith. Bergevek can't hang on, and Alabama almost got the football again. Nico Johnson couldn't contain it. That'll give us a chance to check in, get an Auburn update. Anish.
Dave, Auburn staring at a 0-1 start to the season, down by 3 after a fake field goal got Utah State a first down. Robert Turbin punches it in. The Aggies up 2 scores with 3.5 to play.
Ouch.
Going deep down the middle. Nearly picked off Drake Kirkpatrick. Good coverage on Tyson Good.
I'm talking excellent coverage because you see the speed, the closing speed. They might have been even for a while. The ball's thrown out in front of the receiver, Tyson Good. And watch the guy who enters the screen and has a better chance to catch it than the receiver. It's Drake Kirkpatrick. He outruns the receiver to the football. Oh, that's some closing speed. And then Barron coming in over the top to help out. A lot of speed in that secondary with great size.
3rd down and 10. Under 2 minutes to go. 3rd quarter. Keith. That one's batted in the air. And the Alabama defense will force yet another punt. C.J. Mosley.
Mosley gets his hands on that one. He's been all around the football. You called his name a few times today. A lot of guys having good game for Alabama defensively. That's what you want. You certainly want the all-stars and guys like Dante Hightower, Courtney Upshaw, but you want everybody contributing. You have a bunch of good players rather than one superstar.
Now Christian Jones will have a chance to return a punt. True freshman, listed as a defensive back early on, but he's been switched out to wide receiver. Nice job with that return out to the 43-yard line, a 45-yard punt. Alabama with decent field position. Who will take the field? Looks like A.J. McCarron once again. Well, we'd like to recognize our friends at Allstate for their charitable contributions across the country. Now, since 2005, Allstate has donated more than $2.4 million through the Good Hands Field Goal Net program to benefit University General Scholarship Funds. Andre McCarron getting back out there. 1:42 to go.
How about the big fella, one of the highly recruited players in the country last year, Cyrus Kwanjo. All 6'6", sometimes 6'8", 330 pounds of him, and a guy that does not look 18 years of age and doesn't play that way either.
They really think he can blossom into one of the premier offensive linemen in America. But right now, Kent State with another pick. This one's by Leon Green. He will take it back to the 43-yard line. Michael Williams, the tight end, brings him down. That's an 18-yard return. And, well, Cyrus Kwanjo didn't have a whole lot of time to get his feet settled.
No, and this is something that'll drive Coach Saban absolutely crazy. Turnovers. That one's supposed to have been caught by Michael Williams. You want to be a factor in the passing game as a tight end, you got to catch balls like that.
McCarron hit him in the hands with it.
Yeah, there's nothing he can do. He read it out. Right place to go with the football. Great place to put it. And Michael Williams just got to catch the football there.
Williams, better known as the blocking tight end, said he spent a lot of time trying to become also a catching tight end, but misfired on that one. Little handoff to the left side. Brent Callaway.
I'm finding out about Mark Barron.
Robert Holloman, excuse me, on the carry.
Yeah, he likes contact. He doesn't mind coming up, putting the pads and the helmet on somebody. And he's flying from that safety position to come up and put the helmet and pads on people.
Today's First and 10 line brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, moving forward. Terry in the backfield, but they'll swing it with Ertzvek on the outside. Flag down. He'll get it to the 35-yard line. Gain of about 4.
Right in the middle of the formation. That's usually holding. Yep.
Holding. Number 55 of the offense. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Second down.
That'll back him up to near midfield. Chris Anzavino, the center.
Just hadn't been able to take advantage of a couple of gifts by this Alabama offense, the interceptions, and only one time after a turnover did they put points on the board. Kent State. You talk about momentum changes. You get an interception. You've got to take advantage.
Keith over the middle. Pass complete, but immediately taken to the ground by C.J. Mosley. Sam Kirkland with the reception. 6-yard pickup. But that'll make it 3rd down and 10 now.
There he is again. 3-2. Showing up in your screen. We just got some good football players across the board. Union Square, Chapman, Williams, Hightower, Upshaw, Barron, and Kirkpatrick on the back end. All those guys have had an outstanding afternoon.
That will do it for the 3rd quarter. Alabama puts 2 touchdowns on the board. Kent State added one of their own. The tally is the time, 38-28. Golden Flash to 7. Fourth quarter football on the other side right here on the SEC Network Game of the Week. Nick Saban's Crimson Tide leading 38-7 over his alma mater, Kent State. You see the numbers from McCarron, 226 yards, but 2 picks. Also Sims, 59 yards, 2 picks. Andre, the turnover stat is shocking.
Yeah, it's 5-0 when you talk about Alabama, which you think it would be flipped. Kent State hadn't turned the football over, and Alabama has 5 turnovers today.
Pass is caught, but shy of the first down to the 37-yard line. Let's make it 7-yard pickup. That'll bring up a 4th down and 3. And I think that the Golden Flashes will keep the offense out there.
I can guarantee you, though, that's what Coach Saban will talk about. And credit the defense when you give away 5 turnovers and you only score 1 touchdown. That's big time. Defense has really stepped up in this football game for Alabama.
4th down and 3. Here comes some heat, it appears. That one's batted in the air and almost picked off. Mark Barron got up to bat it in the air. So Kent State will give it up on downs.
You see why he's an All-American. Yeah, that's just all over the field. And still McCarron at quarterback here.
AJ may be taking this job by the reins right before our eyes, Andre.
I agree with you. He is the timing in which the football comes out has been the biggest difference in both he and Phillip Sims.
Hands off, goes to Jolston. Jolston Fowler picks up 14 yards on his first carry.
They turn to the big back in Fowler, and all he did last year was average 7.9 yards a carry on 14 toast, but he goes 6'1", 246. A nice job of securing the corner. DJ Fluker, the right tackle, and those guys blocking it up, and he turns the corner nicely.
Out of the pistol formation. Fowler will get this handoff, working the right side. The big man has a big hole. Jolston Fowler will take it to the end zone. 49 yards.
I got it wrong. The play before, it was Cyrus Kwanjo that threw the nice block there. It was DJ Fluker, the sophomore right tackle, securing the edge. And it allowed Jolston Fowler to get himself pointed north and south. But a nice job up front overall by the offensive line to free him up.
And the point after by Jeremy Shelley. It's up, and it is good. It is now 45-7. That's because big number 45 took it to the house. Back in a moment. Today's SEC Network game is brought to you by Honda Generators. Power for the ultimate tailgating experience. Haviland with Deposit Shield. Protect what matters. Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. And by Vizio, delivering entertainment freedom for all. Back at Bryant-Denny Stadium, Dave Neal, Andre Ware, 45-7. Kara Capuano down on the sidelines. Glad to be with us today as we get a look at the second-ranked team in America. A team that has coughed the football up 5 times today, but still lead 45-7 against Nick Saban's alma mater. He faced Kent State once before as a coach when he was at Toledo. The one year he coached Toledo. Was able to knock off Kent State. First ever meeting between these two clubs. Kent State getting a nice $1.2 million payday for their efforts. Kirkland out over the 25 to the 28-yard line. Some big news happening over at the loveliest village. Let's get an update. Anish.
Dave, Auburn trailed by 10 with 3:38 to play, scored a touchdown, recovered the onside kick, and then Michael Dyer punching it in with about 30 seconds left, and Auburn now leading with 30 seconds to play. Utah State, though, does have 2 timeouts.
Wow, is all I can say.
A lot of coaching up between now and next Saturday, that's for sure, in Auburn.
We will be over there, Mississippi State and Auburn squaring off. SEC opener, obviously, for those two clubs. Be anxious to get the take from the coaches and players once we get over on campus on Friday morning. Mississippi State, of course, coming in with an electrifying performance in their opener. Over 600 yards of offense. Utah State has done a pretty good number on this Auburn defense, over 400 yards for Utah State. So that'll be an interesting one to say over at Jordan-Hare.
I'd like to be a fly on the wall in that locker room when this one's over.
Second down and 9. Spencer Key. Pass is caught. Matt Hurdle makes the reception. Should be good enough for a first down. Who the spot is, I think that is good enough. They'll probably move the chains. Yes, they will.
Big-bodied receiver, and Hurdle gets between himself, the ball, and John Fulton, the corner to that side. Able to complete a slant route to him. A lot of reserves now seeing some action for Alabama defensively.
They'll work the left side. Jacquez Terry gets a couple of yards. Overall today, Alabama has put up 431 yards of offense, 7.1 yards per play. How about Kent State? 54 plays, 35 yards, averaging 0.6 yards per play. Tackle on the outside, Justin Thompson brought down by Phelan Jones, gain of 7.
Well, you look at what Kent State's doing. They're going no huddle, but it's really no pace to it. And they're allowing Alabama to adjust defensively without snapping the football with bodies out of place.
Justin Thompson with the catch. He gets 3 yards on the play. That'll move the chains. First and 10.
Mirror route from the previous play where they did the same thing the other side. Hit Justin Thompson and picks up 7 now there for the first down.
Gain of 4. Sam Kirkland with the catch. He's getting winded. Taps the helmet, means he needs a little bit of a break.
I like Sam Kirkland. He's a fine-looking athlete. I thought maybe should have gotten a lot more touches earlier in this football game.
Trey DePriest getting it on the action for Alabama. He's had a nice, the true freshman, highly talented true freshman linebacker now with 7 tackles today. 6'2", 240. Out of Springfield, Ohio. Coaches really like the potential of that young man. Right through the hands of Chris Gilbert. Fourth down, and looks like Kent State will keep their offense on the field.
Well, you got to go for it. It's always 4th down territory now for Kent State when you trail 45-7. Every down matters.
dropped. John Simpson, the tight end, couldn't hold on, and once again, and a flag comes in late. Matt Hurdle was jawing back and forth with Phelan Jones, and a flag came out.
I don't know what that was all about.
After the play, dead ball, personal foul. Number 8 of Kent State, 15-yard penalty, Alabama's ball, 1st and 10.
Well, that'll move it down to the 41-yard line. There it is. It's gone final. The Auburn Tigers down 2 scores with just over 3 minutes to play.
I knew that would be a tough game for them. You know, with all they lost, and it went right down to the wire.
Barrett Trotter named the starting quarterback, 18 of 24 in that game, 286 yards. Phillip Sims back in at quarterback now. Austin Fowler with the carry. There's Phillip Sims.
I like this big running back, this sophomore running back, Austin Fowler. Mobile, Alabama. Boy, does he get his pad level down and over his feet going forward. The way a big guy's supposed to run.
Sims slings it to the outside. Pass caught by Brian Vogler.
Vogler, the redshirt freshman. Big tight end, big target, 6'7", 252. Moves well. And I like the work there by Sims as well. You get a little pressure. No need to panic. Just slide away from it. Keep your feet under you and throw a nice, accurate pass.
You make it sound so easy.
It's not, my friend.
Put your feet set. Just throw it out there. Hit your target. No big deal. Fowler gets the handoff off the right side. It's a play he scored a touchdown on earlier. Only gets 2 on that one.
Fowler's trying to get himself into this running back mix, along with Richardson and Lacey. With that, he's going to take a break. Give way to Blake Sims, another youngster.
Fowler today with 4 carries, 69 yards, including a big 49-yard touchdown run. Blake Sims in the backfield. Flag comes down, and Blake Sims wearing number 6. Guy that came here as an athlete, could play a little quarterback.
False start. Number 22 of the offense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. 2nd down.
And Blake Sims is a guy that Alabama fans might see a little bit more of than they maybe thought before this season started. Just talking to the coaches, you got that sense that there's some stuff that they can do with this guy.
Just all of a sudden, this eerie smile from Jim McElwain kind of creeps across his face when he starts talking about the young man Blake Sims.
Here's Phillip Sims. Chased down from behind. Nobody can catch him. He's got some running room. 1st down for Blake. Excuse me, for Phillip.
Well, I'm laughing because of the block by big Cyrus Kwanjo. The left tackle just swallows up a guy. Watch the left side of your screen and watch number 71 work. Good footwork. The hands are in the right place. He gets the guy on the ground, and you're going to stay there. He paves the way for Phillip Sims to pick up the 1st down. Nice job by the big guy.
You know, if Cyrus can get some good snaps at left tackle, that means they can move Barrett Jones.
Yeah, back inside.
Well, that time, Mark Fackler, who was the recipient of the Kwanjo block a moment ago, got the better of The Crimson Tide lost 3.
Tell you one thing, it wasn't Cyrus that he got the best of because he caved everything inside down. He was coming from outside in, and it washed itself all the way down. I don't know where the tackle came from, but it wasn't because of big Cyrus Quanjo. Well, I like this big guy. Nothing not to like about him.
Cyrus made a lot of news on recruiting on signing day. There's Blake Sims. He's chased down. Cyrus initially committed to Auburn on signing day. Big news, all the TV cameras there. Never signed his letter of intent. His brother plays here at Alabama. And upon further review, he decided, you know what? My family can't watch us both play on the same day. And he liked it here. He liked it at Auburn.
Only once a year if he gone to Auburn.
And it would have been, he said it would have tore him up. So he decided to come back to Alabama. It's as simple as that. I mean, a lot of people made a lot of issues about it. But he said, you know what? At the end of the day, it was good for my parents, good for my family. And that's why he's here.
When you look at him as well, 6'6", 230, 222. And there isn't a whole lot of body fat on that body. He is well put together. And I think if you're going to just chisel a left tackle, that's the guy you model it after right there. Big Cyrus Quanjo. He's going to play a lot for Alabama.
Trent Richardson. I mean, we asked him, what do you think of Cyrus? And he was like, man,
big smile.
I couldn't believe this guy's 18 years old. 33-yard field goal attempt from the far hash. Artie Buck in to hold on this attempt from Jeremy Shelley, and it is good. So Alabama up 48-7, 5:27 to go in the contest. Alabama leading 48-7 over Kent State. 5:27 to play in this one. Andre, your thoughts before this kick about what you've seen from Alabama today?
Well, I'd like to see them have run the football a little bit better. Overall, break some runs, and not until Fowler came in did they do that. Want to see Trent Richardson a little bit better, and then more consistency at the quarterback. Too many turnovers. Overall, defensively, nothing wrong with that side of the football.
Here's the kick. Taken by Kirkland. Out over the 20. He'll spot it at the 21-yard line. Time for us to check in once again with Kara Capuano. Kara.
Well, guys, all season long, Champion Apparel will be showcasing the tradition and history of the SEC. Today at Alabama, a unique musical twist. At the fourth quarter break, the $1 Million Band plays Basket Case by Green Day. Fans stand on their feet. They hold up 4 fingers, signaling that the final 15 is about to begin. The tradition began about middle of 1987, took about a year off, but it's been back since the mid-2000s. Visit Champion on Facebook and join the conversation about your school's game day traditions. Champion, it's how you play. Dave?
Basket Case, that sums up Andre.
Green Day's had a few hits, my man. I know a little bit about Green Day.
Here's Spencer Keith. Dumps it down the middle to Trayan Durham. Trayan, that true freshman out of Cincinnati. Gain of 7.
I would sing for you, but I don't want to take anybody's job or anything, you know. Start auditioning on the air.
I've heard you sing, my man. Keep it to yourself.
I wouldn't need American Idol. We just do it right here.
Alabama's defense has done a nice job today overall. They've given up a total of 53 yards. Boy, Spencer Keith. Trey DePriest got in there and sent Spencer Keith flying again. That is 8 quarterback pressures today, 4 sacks.
Well, they're going to talk about that because Tim Urchevik was wide open down the field, and Coach Saban was about halfway out between the numbers and the sideline, yelling and screaming for the safeties to get over the top, but I don't know how he got that wide open. They'll talk about that one tomorrow during film study.
Kent State 3 out of 18 on third downs today. Adeyemi. He might be short of the first down. I think he is. A gain of 2. They needed a long 3. Kent State only 4 first downs all afternoon. Ranzel Watkins on that tackle. There's Darrell Hazel, his first year as head coach. 7 years as an assistant at Ohio State.
They're going to punt the football here. Don't want to just turn it over at their own 30 if they don't pick up the first down. They're just waiting to talk about it. The offense hadn't left the field, but they've got the punting unit lined up ready to go. They're fooling them here with 3:49 left in the fourth quarter.
Fourth down and a yard. Alabama out in front by 41. Closing in on the end of this one. Stay with us.
It became clear after Herschel's first year that if you want to beat Georgia, you're going to have to put a rope on him. And he was hard to tie.
He had more big plays as a freshman, but some of his greatest runs were later on when everybody was keying on him.
SEC Story, a new series from the creators of 30 for 30. The first film tells the story of Herschel Walker, his Heisman Trophy career in Georgia. Herschel debuts this Wednesday, 8 o'clock Eastern on ESPNU. It was also great to see Keith Jackson.
Yeah.
Just
you talk about the voice. Amen, my man.
Kirkland goes in motion. They'll hand it off on 4th and a yard, and the big man, Trayon Durham, will pick up the first down. That'll be a gain of 6.
Big guy had committed to Wisconsin. Trayon Durham. He changed to Kent State because he wanted to play running back and not fullback.
Terry with the carry. He picks up 6. Andre, the quarterback situation here as the clock ticks down to 3:20 and moving for Alabama. Going forward, I'm guessing we might see a lot of A.J. McCarron.
Yeah, until that last pick that he threw. I would have just about agreed with you and told you that he'd sewn up the job, but I think it's still going to play itself out. I think he played well enough certainly to earn the start next week at Penn State, but you never know how they're going to sort that thing out. Oh, what a big hit here.
Clinton Dix coming in, a true freshman safety out of Orlando, Florida on Sam Kirkland. But overall, play action by Keith Urchevek with the reception. That'll be a first down into Alabama territory, gain of 13.
Right now, Kent State trying to find something to build on as their season goes forward. A couple of first downs here, moving the football a little bit, but it just happens to be against about the third team of Alabama.
Urchevik with the catch. Just a quick update. Sims, by the way, 5 of 12, 59 yards. Meanwhile, A.J. McCarron, 14 of 23, 226. Both guys have interceptions today as well.
I would have to say McCarron has played well enough to start next week. You find some time for Phillip Sims because you need 2 guys ready.
Pass is picked off. Phelan Jones, the senior out of Mobile, picks up the first turnover of the game for Kent State today.
And that's something that, talking to Kirby Smart yesterday, they wanted to do. They 4th in the nation in terms of interceptions a year ago with 22, a huge number, but they wanted to force a bunch of fumbles this season, and they just felt like they hadn't gotten the football out enough.
Nick Saban's team finally gets a turnover. We will come back. Alabama's final drive, perhaps, in a moment. 48-7. Alabama over Kent State. Time to take a look at our Good Hands Play of the Day, brought to you by All State. And for this, we go to Marquise Mays.
Yeah, the post guard over the middle. Great timing by the quarterback, A.J. McCarron, and right there just plucking it out of the air. Marquise Mays had an outstanding football game this afternoon.
Marquise also exhibited the right stuff today. He's our player of the game, brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low prices every day. How about that? 118 yards receiving. Marvelous job returning. Although he did bobble a couple of punt returns, he did show some ability to take it the distance. Blake Sims with that carry. There's Marquise. They were looking for somebody to step up in that receiving core until Darius Hanks can get back. Hanks will not play next week at Penn State. Deron Carter will have his helmet on next week. It'll be interesting to see how much he can play. He just hasn't practiced. I mean, he's only had a week under his belt.
I think DeAndrew White had a nice game as well for his first collegiate action. The freshman out of North Shore High School.
Saw good stuff from Eddie Lacy. Look at Blake Sims. See a little bit while Jim McElwain had a big old smile on his face when we just kind of casually said, what are you going to do with Blake Sims? And he just kind of smiled.
Man, give it and take it away. Some nice speed and quickness and a different kind of a change-up from what they've had around here in the last couple of years. An elusive running back. There's kind of a power with both Ingram and Richardson. This kid gives you a little bit of a different little bit of a change-up at running back.
173 yards on the ground for Alabama, 299 through the air. Phillip Sims will hand it off to Blake, and he'll get it to the 39, a gain of 4. Blake out of Gainesville, Georgia. No relation to Phillips, who's out of Chesapeake, Virginia.
Well, you talk about just talent everywhere. There's very little drop off from 1 to 2, and then you go all the way this deep in the running back situation, and it's still pretty nice.
Today's First and 10 line brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, moving forward. It'd be the final play of this one. And that will do it. So Alabama begins their quest for a national championship with a 48-7 win over Kent State. Nick Saban picks up his 130th win as a collegiate head coach in the process. Trent Richardson and company do what they need to do on this opening Saturday of the 2011 season. We'll come back, put a wrap on it in a moment. Once again, the final score, 48-7, Alabama wins. Thanks for joining us for the opening weekend of SEC Network football. We'll be back next week at noon Eastern time. Mississippi State taking on the national champs, the Auburn Tigers. So for Andre, Kara, the rest of our crew, I'm Dave Neal saying so long from Tuscaloosa, everybody. We'll see you down the road.